One lonely beastie I be, all by myself without nobody. Sun is beating down on my baseball hat. My beer's getting warm. My beer's getting flat. Looking for a girl. I ran into a guy. His name is Rzerob. I said howdy. He said hi. What's going on, New York Giant fans? This is Online Big Blue Tim, of course, with the venerable Rzerob coming at you live on an Easter Monday. Monday. We got a lot of
Monday.
Truckosaurus. Yeah, I know it's April Fool's Day, and I can tell by the foolishness and the foolingness of everything going on today on Twitter. But we're going to talk about some serious Giant shit today. We're going to talk about the fact that what if it's not a quarterback? What if the gods that be that came down on Mount Mara, Rob, and said, you may take a quarterback if you wish, but know this.
You will be selling your soul.
That's kind of what I think Mara said. But
it's kind of like
I could just be
like a ghostwriter type of deal. So like Joe Shane was there, and John Mara says, I get to take your soul.
No,
I'll swallow your soul.
Then the next GM will come in and be looking for the list of Venganza or whatever.
It's funny though, because you see this shit with Mara, and it's just like, can you really make this up? I mean, we look at the fact that we're trying to be potentially dysfunctional as a franchise, and you look at other places, Rob, and you're like, are we really this dysfunctional? Are we really this to the point where we're just kind of like broken beyond? Are we the Knicks of the National Football League?
That's harsh.
Are we the James Dolan of the Knicks? I love it right now. Zach Attacks already dropping in. Rob is a big fan of Garrett Green, West Virginia quarterback.
Zach, I just got here, Zach.
We have to get the April Fools out of the way. The Giants are bringing back Bobby Johnson. How to get it out of the way? How to get the he won't get
nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Rob literally wonking himself. We got the big old two-door dropping the super size. A massive salute to the big boss, Tim, DN, and the D legend, Rob. All diehard Giant fans across the pond.
It's paisano.
I know, but I do what they refer to as short reads. I don't read the whole thing. I just because I have to try to get 400 chats in a show. So in radio days we would refer to that as a short read.
Radio killed the radio star.
First of all, it's video killed the radio star.
Whatever. I know, but we're talking about radio.
Did radio kill the radio star? That makes zero sense.
It's
but
the remix.
Are you a big man?
It's going to go horribly wrong when Rob is here. I'm going to get to everyone in the chat in a minute because I want to make sure we get to all the questions and all the comments and all the fun stuff because that's just what we do here. But Rob, what you are now 20 something days away from this first round of the NFL draft. This Thursday night special. I think it's 23 days now. Or 22 and a quarter. If you go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com, it'll tell you exactly how many days you have. But what is your feeling right now? There has been so much misdirection. There has been so much. I don't know what you want to call it, but where do you think that it's 24 days, 55 minutes, and 21 seconds? Where do you think the Giants are headed? What is your thought process here? Or if you have a thought process.
I mean, my gut tells me that I think that they are going to go quarterback in some capacity, whether it's taking somebody that's at 6 or moving up to get somebody, whether it's JJ, whether it's Drake May. I feel like we're going to get a quarterback. But there's that part of me that also is like, well, what if they only like 2 of these guys? What if JJ and May are like the 2 guys that they like? They're not really interested in Penix, but they sent the whole front office
to they had dinner with him in Seattle.
I just saw that today. They had dinner with him after his pro day. And, I saw the Albert Breer piece. He was on the Rich Eisen show, and, he said he has some boots on the ground, and they seem to be talking to Rome Odunze during the pro day more than talking to Michael Penix. And Rome didn't participate. And I'm like, you're not sending all of those people
to talk to a guy that didn't actually,
to talk to a guy that didn't participate. You know what I mean? And you knew he wasn't going to participate. You knew he wasn't, right? Because I'm sure they have that information. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Were you surprised with Jaden Daniels and his counterpart, Mr. Neighbors, participating together that he didn't run, that he didn't help out his quarterback? Because honestly, I don't think that I don't think there was any need for Neighbors to participate in the pro day. There really wasn't. I think we're still as Marvin Harrison 1, and I personally have Neighbors 2, and I don't foresee him jumping over Harrison because I think people think Harrison is more of a finished product like his father because he's got the pedigree, he's got the lineage. But there was nothing for him to gain besides helping out Jaden by participating because he's probably going to go in the top 10 anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like he's going to go 7 instead of 6 because he's still getting top 10 money.
I think it says a little bit about where Penix and where Jaden are. Personally, myself, this is my opinion, is I feel like, injuries aside, like Michael Penix to me is the second, if not pushing the first best quarterback in this draft. And the injuries is what's holding him back. And Penix didn't need Rome there to put on a show, and he did. Maybe Jaden wanted, Neighbors, or not wanted, but maybe they just want to help each other out to try to give him a little bit of an extra edge. I also do think
you've played together for a couple of years now. You've went to the national championship game. He's your boy. He's your guy. Allegedly, we
probably
don't know.
Just confident in him, and his abilities, who he is.
But at this time, wouldn't you want to help out your guy as much as possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
The injury history and may have, if anything, to me, Penix has more to lose in reference to the injury issue because, I mean, I don't think he's getting past the Raiders at 13. Hell, I don't think he's going to get past Minnesota at 11 because I don't think Minnesota
stand pat.
I don't think Minnesota, from what I'm hearing out of Minnesota is keeping their 2 picks because they feel a quarterback's going to fall. But Penix to me is a guy that has more to lose by not having, a one receiver out there, someone that he's worked with. He had a great pro day. Don't get me wrong. It's hindsight, but he had a great pro day. But I don't know. I just kind of felt it weird that, I know from just being when I played, if you want to help your boy out, help your brother out, you're going to go out there and do what you can to, make him look good. And I know you don't have to do that because you're trying to get your own money, but I just found it weird. And I don't know if it says anything about him more than maybe, maybe Jaden has a better relationship with Neighbors. I'm not saying it's a point where I think it's, a personality thing or a red flag, but I don't know. I just find it interesting.
I think the thing for me, I actually have Neighbors going ahead of Marvin Harrison in this draft.
Okay.
And I think just because I do think that Harrison is the better prospect, I think that there are things to like about Neighbors in his game. And I think that they're like 1A, 1B, they're right. Very, very close as far as their capabilities. And I just think that the reason why Neighbors probably mainly participated was that Marvin didn't. And I think that he wants to, be that first wide receiver off the board, showcase his talents a little bit, try to be that first wide receiver off the board. So, but I think Neighbors is, I personally believe Neighbors is going to be the first receiver taken. And that's not a slight on Marvin Harrison. I just think I think that people may appreciate or like or find Neighbors' capabilities maybe a little bit more attractive than Marvin Harrison. Plus, Marvin hasn't played and done anything since the Michigan game. He hasn't done anything. He didn't do anything at the combine. He didn't do anything at his pro day. He just met with teams. That's about it.
Yeah, but I think to like I said to Marvin's point, there's I mean, if you're the top dog in the race, same with Caleb. Caleb did have his pro day, and even though Caleb went 50 for 50 on his pro day, people are like, well, that was kind of a pedestrian pro day. There's no when you're the lead dog in the race, where do you have to go? There's only one place to go, down.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I always felt. All in Big Blue says Rob wants to bring back Bobby Johnson. Mike Lee says, good morning, gents, and smash that like button. We got Matthew coming up. Sup, Big Blue family. Also, let's see. I gotta say, if we draft a wide receiver and not a quarterback, Shane should be fired on the spot. Do you think Shane should be fired if he doesn't take a quarterback? Let me put it this way. Let's say, for the sake of argument, because I still think Marvin Harrison's going to. Evidently, the professionalism here is not what I would refer to as top of the line.
I'm just opening up a window.
Dude, you just go like this with your hand. It's okay. And kind of do it from your backside. It's okay. It'll go out the other door.
I didn't fart, dude.
It took you a while to figure that one out. let's say Jaden and JJ. Jaden Daniels and JJ McCarthy are both at 6, and the Giants grab a wide receiver. What's your thoughts?
Jaden and JJ are available.
Jaden McCarthy are both sitting there at 6 because I still think Marvin Harrison's going to go to New England with 3. I don't think the hierarchy right now in New England's ready to make the first year. People say this. People say that New England doesn't like any of these quarterbacks. I don't think it's that. I don't think they are ready. They know they are not ready to start the proverbial 4-year quarterback clock and with a first-round pick this year. That's what I personally think, because that contract's just going to accelerate. So I think Marvin Harrison's still going to New England. And let's just say, for the sake of sake, that McCarthy, that May goes to Washington, and you have McCarthy, Daniels, and all the wide receivers, the 2 top wide receivers after, however you want to rank them, after Harrison are all there, and the Giants go wide receiver.
I mean, Shane just signed I think he signed his resignation papers at that point. Now you got to let the rest of the draft play out if they have a better plan. But to me, if you go wide receiver, if you don't take a quarterback in the first 2 rounds at that point, like if you go wide receiver 1 and you don't take a quarterback in round 2, then you just you signed your papers, man.
I think this is going to be like the 83 draft. I think you're going to see Williams, Daniels, May, Penix all go in the top 32. And there's even more speculation and rumors that that Denver's in love with Bo Nix.
I think they are going to take Bo Nix.
There could be 5 quarterbacks, if not 6, taken in the first round. What are you going to grab in the second? You're going to grab Devin Leary?
Nothing's going to be available.
There's not going to be anything available because everyone is saying, and I have to agree, that this is probably one. I don't know if it's going to be all pro talent, but this is probably one of the deepest quarterback drafts I have seen since the 2004 or the 1983 draft.
John Mara said it right from his mouth that, and here's the thing. We were talking about this in the spaces. When he said, his front office said that this is the richest quarterback draft in a long time. Who's his front office? Tim McDonald is part of that front office.
Yeah.
He was in Washington. Everybody was there. They had when they went to the pro day, Joe Shane was there. Dable was there. Tim was there. I think Brandon Brown was there. Kafka was there.
Yep.
Tierney was there. And their wide receivers coach was there. They had 7 or 8 people there. 7 or 8 people. That's nuts. You don't bring that many people for a wide receiver, bro. Like, you don't. You don't. Like, anybody telling me, like, that's when Albert Breer said this, like, oh, they were there really. Like,
You're telling me you don't bring the contingent of 9 people because you just want to look at a wide receiver? No,
Bro, like Albert Breer, man. I love Albert Breer. He's good, but dude, come on.
That's a little. That's a little. Joe Rev says, "What's Joe? We're gonna get to this, but I gotta get this." Joe Rev says, "What's up, fellas?" Kevin says, "Peace to James." Matthew says, "How's it going, Tim?" Kevin also says, "What's going on, Tim?" Blazin says, "Timmy and Rob, fellow Big Blue family." Tim, you sound like Andre. You just sounded like Andre the Giant. What's going on? What's going on, Charlie? How you doing yourself? We got Big Glenn dropping in also saying, "Bro, I'm always asking, can I please join the live?" Didn't you just join the other day? Didn't you?
Glenn, you look really busy in that picture. I don't know if you're gonna have the time.
I was gonna say, I thought you joined the other day. Charlie says, "What's up, chat?" Tim, go Yankees. Yeah, the Mets are.
Go Yankees!
Right now, big time. Let's see here. Mike Lee says, "Could be worse. They could be the Nets." No, that's just,
yes.
That's just mean. Hirsch for real says, "What's up, Tim and Rob?" Zakatek says,
Hirsch.
"How does Rob feel about?" And I think this is actually an honest question. This isn't a Zach go after you question. How do you feel about Joe Milton? Joe Milton the third, not just how the third, but Joe Milton the third,
the tight end. Because that's what he's gonna be. He's gonna be a tight end. I'm taking somebody else's bag, but I mean, I don't know, man. The guy can throw the ball. You know, he's when I think of Joe Milton, I think about that. Commercial. What was it with fucking? Was it Peyton? Yeah, I feel like 6'5" quarterbacks, laser rocket arm. Something like. He just could throw the ball far, man.
Here's the thing, though. Here's an interesting point, and I'm going to give credit to Zach for this. Okay, Joe played in the SEC, so he played in Tennessee. So if you take a look at the statistics that he put up and Anthony Richardson put up, Anthony Richardson had less yards and less touchdowns than Joe Milton. Anthony Richardson did have about 300 more yards rushing. But only 2 more touchdowns rushing than Joe Milton III had. And they both play in the exact same conference, but statistically passing, Joe Milton had a better year than Anthony Richardson against the exact same competition against the SEC. It's not like someone's playing the SEC and the other one person's playing in the Pac-10. He actually put up better numbers as a passer, while AR put up better numbers as a running quarterback. But he also only had like 2 less touchdowns, Milton did, than rushing touchdowns than Anthony Richardson had.
I think the difference between, with that comparison is I think athletically, they're just 2 different players. I think that Anthony Richardson to me is a freak of an athlete. He's big, physical, like just his body type, everything about him. He's just night and day different from Joe Milton. But what I will also say is that I think Anthony benefited from the year that he came out. So say Anthony went back to college this year, and was coming out this year.
You talked about his size, his strength, and everything else. How tall is Anthony Richardson?
I think he's like 6'3", 6'4".
6'4". How much does he weigh?
236.
245. Okay. And Joe Milton is 6'5", 245. So
yeah, but they're built. Yeah, but the thing is
built.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but like their body built is different. Like the way that they're like me and you could both be. Let's just say we're both 6 foot, and I'm 230, and you're 233. I could be 230, like shredded muscle, good, and you could be an average build, like. Or not be as strong or something like that. Like there's different types of body types. But look, like I was saying before, I think that Anthony benefited from the year that he came out of college. Because look, if Anthony went back to school and came out and had, or let's just say the year Anthony came out was this year,
right?
Off the same year, he's not the third quarterback off the board. He's not. So, he benefited from the year that he came out. And that's probably, the quarterbacks that were coming out this year is probably why he came out last year, to be honest.
I would fucking come out. I would go out last year too.
It's probably why he came out, so And that's also why some of these other guys like Ewers and all of these other guys, they went back to school because you're not even going to sniff it. Not even going to sniff it. So I think Anthony really benefited from the year that I think that's, Anthony just really benefited from the year that he came out of college. Because maybe if Joe Milton came out last year, yeah, maybe he gets a little bit more buzz. Maybe he goes in the first round, right?
Listen, I'm gonna say this about Joe Milton's pro day because I watched the majority of his pro day, and for those that think that Caleb who went 50 for 50 had a pedestrian pro day, and then you compare it to some of the throws that Joe Milton made, you would sit there and look at it and say, well, Joe Milton should be better than Caleb Williams. But it's a pro day. I mean, because there was a pass that Milton literally, it's all over the internet. He literally ran to one side, ran back the other way, and then threw the ball like 60 yards in the air and dropped it on a dime. And a guy full motion in the corner of the end zone. I mean, great throw. But again, that's not a throw on Sunday. That's a throw against the All Shorts team.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I if I'm the Giants and I don't take any type of quarterback, I have no problem with taking someone like Joe Milton, like in the 5th, 6th round. I wouldn't take him any higher than 5 in the 5th round, but I especially if you're not gonna for the sake of argument here. This is another question when I show up for this, and I'm gonna get to the chat in a second. What if the Giants, with the 6 picks that they have, because they only have 6 picks right now, what if they don't take a quarterback at all? What if you're gonna roll with Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito?
Look, it's a question. It's a conversation to have because it's a possibility of it happening.
Right.
It's a possibility. Right. And so just for the sake of the argument, I think you got to get a playmaker, obviously. So you want to go a wide receiver.
But do you think you can get a wide? Now, we don't have our own second. We've talked about this ad nauseum. We have Seattle's second. So we have the 46, I think it is.
47.
47. Thank you. I still think there's plenty of time to get a wide receiver.
Agreed. Yeah, I think guys like A.D. Mitchell will probably be off the board. Troy Franklin will be off the board. Worthy will be off the board.
What about Brian Thomas? Brian Thomas.
He's going to be off the board. He's going to go in. He's going to go in the first round. Okay. He's going to go in the first round. I think you could have an Xavier Legette there. You could have a Keon Coleman there. Maybe a Ricky Parashall there. You could have him there.
What about McConkey? I know some people are high on him. Some people aren't. I
like him. I just don't. I don't know if he'll be there at 47. I could see a team maybe in the top end of the second round grab him.
Right.
But I don't know if he'd be available at 47. I think that's a guy, like, if you like him, you might need to move up to get him.
Okay.
But I don't know if he'd be there at 47. I think at 47, you're probably looking at like Legette, Coleman, maybe, Ricky Parashall from Florida. And that's.
What about the kid from Oregon, Franklin?
I think he's gonna be gone. If he's not a first, if he's not a first round pick, he's gonna be at the top of the second round.
Okay. What about I can't think of his name. The kid from Alabama. He's named after the movie, not the actor, Burton. Was it Jeremiah Burton?
He might be there at 47. Brendan Rice might be there, but I think that's more of like a third round guy, the USC wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's more of a third round, but he'll be there. That's Jerry Rice's kid.
Yep.
I think that's really going to be about it. Like, and those are some decent prospects.
But those are decent prospects to get 47th pick if you grab a quarterback.
Yeah, if you can always grab it. And here's the thing. What people need to realize too is if they want to move up to 3, it's not going to cost you a lot. It's really not. You're swapping ones. You can probably give up a day 2 pick next year. And maybe your first round pick next year. So you're swapping ones. Maybe you might have to give up 47, right? Maybe you give up 47.
Right.
But I think you're mainly looking at a pick swap this year at 1, your first round pick next year, and maybe you can get away with your second round pick next year. So you don't have in the first 2 rounds, you don't have a pick and you're swapping. So in a world where they move up for a quarterback, whether it's to 3, whether it's to 4, if Joe can keep 47, I think that would be
here's
very
the
good.
issue, though. We already have kind of a we already kind of have a benchmark for moving up only a couple spots. The Bears moved up from 3 to 2 and with San Francisco by trading 2 third-rounders and a 4th rounder.
I think it also correct
first round picks,
and it also depends on the player that's available, right? So if Drake May is there at 3, maybe he's not highly ranked, right? So maybe the cost to move up to 3 isn't very high,
right?
Or if it goes Caleb, Drake, and then Jaden goes 3, and you want to go up to 4 to get McCarthy, maybe McCarthy's not really, really highly valued at that point. So again, maybe the compensation isn't as thick. This is I'll spitball this too. This is a conversation that we were having in the spaces. Now, I didn't come up with the actual picks, but I came up with the idea, the base of the idea. And we were talking in a space last week about doing this.
Okay.
If I'm Joe Shane and you are trying right now, I think that Joe Shane has the capabilities where you could get 2 cornerstone pieces for your organization this year in the first round, similar to like what Houston did last year, where they found and got 2 cornerstone pieces on both offense and defense that are going to be the face of driving those 2 sides of the ball for the next 10 years plus. Okay. If Drake May is off the board, so let's just say Drake May goes to Washington, I think at that point Jaden will get picked by New England. I think New England will take Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
At that point, I am going to work out a trade with Minnesota for 6. And I take 11, 23, and maybe like a late round pick swap next year or something like that. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to take 23, 47, and a first rounder next year. And I'm going to move up with the Bears at 9. And the reason for that is.
So wait a minute. What 2 picks are you going to have? So you're going to have 9 with the Bears, and what was the other?
And we're going to have 11.
Okay. I don't want to stop this thought process, but it's not going to happen. I think that is almost a $10 million rookie cap hit. Giants right now, we've talked about this before. Yep. We've talked about this ad nauseum. If you break down the rule of 51, disappears right now. If you break down what you're going to need for the rookie draft pool, and of course, you're not going to need the full value for the rookie draft pool because you only really need the guaranteed contracts. You're also going to need to worry about the practice squad. You also have to bring in those additional 2 contracts. And Joe Shane's, his normal $10 million of operational cap space. Even with just your 6th pick, you're about negative $20 million. And that's without restructure. You're still going to have to restructure the Thomas contract and X. This is the numbers with the number to restructure.
They did Dex, right? Did they do Dex?
They already did Dex. Okay. Dex contract's already done.
But they could still do Andrew, right?
But you're still going to be about negative $20 million once camp breaks. This is why I'm getting very concerned about this, because when we predicted last year we were going to run out of money by midseason, which happened, which is why we traded Leonard Williams. It's not because we wanted to get rid of Leonard, because we loved
you needed cap space.
We needed the cap space to sign a quarterback. We are in a spot right now where we can't afford 2 first-round picks. We can't. Unless, and this is not an April Fool's joke, unless you touch 1 contract on this book.
Daniel.
So making any move for an additional first, this is why I don't think the Giants are doing it. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea, But logistically, if you and we've talked about this, it was the Sumerians. I didn't invent math; they did.
No, I know. Look, you're 100% right.
That is the biggest issue that I would see the Giants precluding the Giants from ever jumping back up into. Now, if you jump up back into like 30, I don't remember off the top of my head what the 30 number is, but the 30 number is only like, I think the 30
lower. It's a lot lower.
It's two. If the Ravens at 30 would be 2.5 million. You would,
but if they did that, if they did the 2 firsts, at that point, I agree with you, right? It makes things a little bit difficult with the other picks. You're going to lose. So in my scenario, you lose 47. So that maybe frees up a little bit, but maybe he trades away a couple of other picks to free up
like $1 million.
Yeah, no, look, I don't. Do I think that that's going to happen? No, I don't. But if you were trying to get a wide receiver and you wanted to get a quarterback, and the Vikings really want JJ, and the board falls that way where it goes Caleb, Drake, then Jaden, that's what I would do. And maybe you get Roma Dunze at 9 because I think there's a chance he's still there. And the reason why I said the Bears is because I think the Jets are going to stand pat at 10. I don't think the Jets are going to trade out. So you don't have to worry about somebody else jumping you and taking Michael Penix. And then, so you let the Jets take Brock Bowers or a lineman, whoever they want to take. And then you take Michael Penix at 11 and you get a wide receiver and you get your quarterback. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I mean, but look, it
would make sense. I mean, in an ideal, okay, listen, I've said this before and I've said this a million times. I want to make sure I get to everyone in the chat. So everyone just hang tight. You look at the Brian Burns trade. It is a good trade value-wise for what we gave up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the minute you dropped a $25 million cap number on him,
wasn't it larger than that?
Well, it balances if you look at the numbers and references.
Didn't he get like 76 million at signing?
Yeah, but you gotta look at what goes against the cap.
Okay.
You gotta look at that. I'm only looking at what the effective cap number is for this year. I'm not looking at what the effective cap number is for down the road.
Because Zach, I'm not 47. Bro, what the fuck, Zach? Like, Zach, is it the gray? Do I need to dye my beard, bro? Like, is that what
Zach just loves you, man.
Man,
I love it because Zach goes to me. I just love picking on Rob,
bro. Because it's like my wife actually's been like, because my wife's like, she goes, babe, are you gonna dye your beard? And I was like, no, I like the gray. What? Like, I like the gray. She goes,
I like to gray it out.
I like to gray.
But no, maybe you should Burns' number this year is 50. His cap number is only 15 million, but he's got a $76 million dead cap number. But he's not going anywhere. I mean, we're not.
So is the rest of it in incentives then?
The rest of it's incentives and signing bonuses. Okay. So that ties into the cap number itself.
Yeah.
That ties into. So it's next year where he's at 29 point, almost 30 million, and the cap is 30 million next year, and we're not getting rid of him because there's also a $61 million dead cap number in 2025. The moment he signed that contract, the moment you traded for him, you precluded yourself from ever trading back up into the first round. You did. I mean, it from the logistics,
given our current cap situation,
it precludes you from making that move. So I kept telling people, some ways, if you want to say you have a second first round pick, it was Brian Burns, because that's going to stop.
And that could possibly be the reason why they gave up 39, because maybe it would have. It lessened their cap hit.
It lessens the 100%.
It lessens their cap.
It lessens the cap number, not a lot. But it lessens the cap number.
I'm sure they would have wanted to keep it, but and ultimately they're like, what's the difference? What's the savings from trading keeping 47 versus 39? It's like a few million, right?
40. Let's see here. 39. You're only looking at like 1.2 million, and it's like maybe 200,000.
So it's not that big.
It's not that big of a deal, but still, it's still money. I mean, I keep trying to explain to people, I don't have a problem with the Burns trade. I don't.
I don't either. I don't either.
I have a
That
problem.
was a steal, to be honest. It was a
I
real.
have a problem with this, and I always say, don't yell at me, because it was people on NFL Network and a lot of other people that were former general managers and everything else that said the Giants got a good player, but they also spend $100 and something million on an 8-sack guy. Because if you look at his career outside of 1 year, and we've talked about this, you go last year, we broke it down. I'm not going to do it again. We broke it down ad nauseum. There's like 7 games last year where he had 0 or only 1 solo tackle. There's like 6 or 7 games last year we had no sacks. And then you go to his big season where everyone talks about where he had 12.5 sacks. There was like 5 or 6 games where he had 0 or 1 solo tackle. And there was like another 6 or 7 games where he had no sacks. Mm-hmm. And the thing is this, and I keep saying this, he's Kayvon Thibodeau 2.0. Kayvon Thibodeau, for all his 12.5 sacks, whatever he had last year, I forget.
11. I think it's 11 and a half.
Sorry, 11.5. 7 of them came in 3 games. 2 of those came in Seattle, which was in the first 3 minutes.
Was it a Monday night game? Yeah.
Yeah, because we were there. That's how I know this. It was in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then in the last
at the end of the game
half when we were down 25.
Yeah.
So you basically paid $100+ million to a guy that you already have on your roster, because they're almost like they can have big moments, but then they can disappear for not only plays but for entire games. And if you we broke down Brian's whole career, it looks just like Kayvon's. I'll have 3 sacks, 2 sacks, and then go 5 games with nothing, not a tackle, not a sack, or maybe 1 solo tackle.
The thing with Brian Burns, what I'll say is, one, I think them trading for him and giving him the contract potentially, not 100%, potentially makes Kayvon an expendable piece. Potentially. Especially if he blows up this year and has a really, really good third year, potentially, because I don't think that you're going to pay both of those guys.
Yeah.
One, because let's just say Kayvon has another double-digit sack year. Say he has 10.5 sacks, right? He's going to look at Brian Burns and say, you just gave that guy this money.
Right.
That this is where we're starting. And you're not going to invest $300 million into 2 edge rushers, right? Because that's his total contract is $141 million. So
I understand it, but then my question to you then immediately will be, Brian Burns is, let's say it's 2 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Burns is now 27 years old, going on 28 years old.
Yep.
Kayvon Thibodeau technically will then be 24, 25 coming into his prime.
Yep.
So
depends on the cap on Brian Burns.
Yeah, but I'm saying Brian Burns is going to be 2 years more towards the end of his career, while Kayvon's going to be 2 more years coming into hopefully will be the prime years of his career.
Correct.
So why would you get rid of Kayvon and keep Brian when more than likely you're going to have the longevity is going to be on Kayvon's side?
Look, the overall side of this is, could they do this and pay both of those guys? They could. And the way that you do this is having a quarterback on a rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
That is the way that you make that happen. And then by the time you're going to have to pay said rookie quarterback, Brian Burns is probably going to be coming up to the last year or 2 of his contract, which at that point, then you could rework his deal if you wanted to. You can move him if you wanted to, whatever the case may be. You could trade him, whatever you want. You could do that. The thing with Brian is, I think Brian shows, from a pass rushing perspective, what we want to see out of Kayvon as far as his moves, his versatility, all of that stuff. Yes, as far as like the sacks and the plays, I agree. They're not there on a consistent basis. However, I will say, when he was with Carolina, because he was drafted in 2019,
right,
with Carolina, he didn't really have anybody that was there. You drafted Derek Brown. Derek Brown is not Dexter Lawrence by any means. The only other good guy edge rusher that he had was Hassan Reddick for 1 year, which Hassan had 10 sacks.
Who is the
which I
big?
think-
Who is the big? No, who is the big secondary edge that Kayvon Thibodeau has?
He doesn't have one. Now he
He
does.
doesn't have one, but
Now he does.
But he doesn't. But he got 11 and a half sacks.
Correct. And I think that you can contribute. I think you can probably contribute if you want the 11 and a half sacks. I look, I'm happy that Kayvon had the year that he did last year. I just can't help but look at the fact that 7 of those sacks, like you just said, came in that time, like within a 3-week time span.
Right.
And yes, are you going to get 2 sacks a game? No, like these guys aren't Von Miller. They're not, Aaron Donald, right? They're not those types of players. I think that yeah, but they're paying him. But the thing is, I think I've seen more out of Brian Burns as far as his capability. And now you're going to put him on the opposite side with Kayvon, and you're giving him Dexter Lawrence. I think you're going to start to see him work himself in, if he's not there already, into a top 5 pass rusher in this league. And I really think, and I'm hoping that they complement each other, Kayvon, and because I do think that they are very similar. They have a very similar skill set. So I'm hoping that it runs it. But yeah, could you? Yeah, you could pay them both. And I think, look, and we've been talking about this ad nauseum in the spaces. You don't make a trade and give Brian Burns the contract that you gave him if you are not planning on resetting at the quarterback position, knowing who you have coming up on contracts that you're going to have to give, i.e. Kayvon Thibodeau. So
Brian Burns last year, not counting his inactive game, had 9 games without a sack. So technically it would be 10, not counting his inactive game. His big sack year, his 12 sacks,
which was in 2022,
half of them came in 3 games.
Similar to Kayvon.
That's what I'm saying. You literally went and got a carbon copy of Kayvon Thibodeau. That's literally what you did. And you're paying him. And we broke this down before on the streams. We broke down Khalil Mack's first 5 years. Khalil Mack would have 70 tackles and 12 and a half sacks. And you're paying this kid. And now Khalil Mack also had 17 and a half sacks last year. But you're paying this kid. And he's not a kid anymore.
Didn't like 7 of those or 6 of those come in like 1 game or something like that or whatever?
I'll have to double Zach Attack check that out. But I'm just saying the first 5 years of Khalil Mack's career, he was averaging like 70 tackles and 12 sacks. So you're paying a guy like he is a Khalil Mack in his prime. And this is a guy that if you look at his career and you break down his career, he's a guy that averages about 30-40 tackles and 8 sacks. That's the only thing. And like I said, I am not a big proponent of Kayvon Thibodeau, but I think Kayvon Thibodeau at this juncture in his career has a much larger upside than Brian.
Great. Well, I actually view them as potentially maybe equal. Maybe I give the head to Kayvon because he's younger. Look, I think my personal feeling is I think they are going to reset at this quarterback position. I think in Joe's mind, he wants this defense to be as young and as aggressive and as dominant for a longer period of time. So you've got Dexter, right? Dexter's 26. Right. Brian is 25. Kayvon is 20. What is he? 21, 22 years old. Like he's 22. Banks, 22 years old. Like he's a young player. You have a lot of young players that are on this team. Bobby Okereke, I think he's like 24. Micah McFadden, he's 23.
Micah McFadden got benched last year and has the most missed tackles by anyone at his position.
I'm not a big Micah McFadden. Listen, I had a conversation about this with somebody.
I'm not putting him in that boat, guys.
No. I'm not putting him as like, to me, and this is what I said. I said, because the topic of the conversation was that if you're going to move up in the draft, do you want Joe Shane, like as far as like, are you okay with Joe Shane not having a lot of picks, right? giving up those picks this year and whatever. And my response to that was, when you look at the last 2 years, I can only say he hit really on 3 players.
Right.
Kayvon, Wandale, and Banks. That I can say those were going to be 3 impactful players, right? Bellinger, good player, but I don't view him as on the same level as like a Kayvon, Wandale Robinson, Banks. Could he get there? Sure. Is it possible? Sure. Micah McFadden, same thing. He was a 4th or 5th round pick. Great player, good player.
Make your money as a general manager.
Exactly. Yeah. Good player, right? Has a lot of improvement to do. But right now, Flott is a miss. Neal is a miss. Owens, you don't know. Anybody from last year that didn't play, like Owens, Jordan Riley, all that stuff, like
Jordan Riley.
You don't really know what those people are because they haven't really played. But Azudu, miss. McKeithen, miss. Flott, miss. Like you missed. So you know what? If you want to take all of these resources and put them into 1 pick and go for a quarterback, I'd trust you better with 1 pick than I have with them with 6, because you had 11 picks in 2022 and you only really hit on 2. And
here's the question about that. I'm still not on the Wandale boat. So I think Wandale should be converted to a running back, because something like 70% of his plays are within the first 4 yards. Make him a Darren Sproles. I
think the reason for that though is the lack of offensive production.
So you think who was the wide receiver that the Giants could have had over Wandale Robinson? It was some big guy that's
you mean Perkins?
Yeah, I mean some big guy that that would be an act.
Yeah, but when you look at how Perkins is now,
but you're not going to put Wandale out beyond the slot or coming out of the backfield.
No, but what I will say though is
on the outside and
correct. But what I would say is, like, I don't think that Wandale is a very speedy, shifty guy that can make plays. If you get
Tony,
he's better than Kadarius Toney. I hate KT, bro. But if you can get him a quarterback that can get him the ball in space and spread the ball around, I really think that Wandale Robinson could. Again, I'm not talking top 5 wide receiver. I'm not talking like that. But I would put him slightly above maybe like what Sterling Shepard was able to produce on the field for us. I'd say that. And that's not
all right. That's
and Shepard was not a crazy contributor, but I could see him producing and making a little bit more of an impact than Shep did.
Here's my thing about the quarterback. I mean, this is one of the things, and you brought up a great point. Getting him in space. And you have a quarterback, let's say whomever it is, and you're going to get your 5'7" wide receiver in space. Would you rather have your space be this big, or have a guy that's at least 6 foot and have your space this big to try to get someone the ball as a quarterback if you're going to go deep down the field?
I mean, when you're looking at it from a perspective of that, yeah, you want to have a bigger guy. But I think time in and time out last year, Wandale Robinson, and we had this conversation before the season. And it was, he lacks making plays after the catch, the yak perspective. Right. And this year, he made plays after the catch. He made guys miss on a consistent basis. He did that. And it took him a little bit, right? He came back in at the 49ers game. I would say like 3, maybe 4 weeks after that, you really saw him starting to ramp up. And because I remember us having that conversation. So I think that he's a guy now that has shown he can make guys miss. He runs clean routes. He's able to, make the first guy miss and get extra yardage. So I'm excited to see what he's capable of. And I even think, I'll even go crazy. Like, I don't even think he's a part of the future, but a guy like Darius Slayton, I think, could also be
what is his yards per reception?
I haven't checked. I think if I had to guess based off of what I saw, like yards per catch, it's got to be like 7 yards or a little bit lower.
It's 8 yards. It's 8.8. Now his yak, what you're talking about, is about 1.2 yards. Now you have to remember this is all from not just the big games that he had, that he had plays. He only had 525 yards.
Yeah.
For you talking about this burner, this speed, this ability to get away from people, his longest reception was 33 yards.
And it's look, and a lot of the numbers are probably skewed a little bit because he didn't get a lot of like in the beginning of the season. They were bringing him on kind of slower.
He still had 70 receptions.
Yeah, like they were bringing him on a little bit slower. They really ramped him up. Yeah, I mean, like the thing.
104 receptions. You better slow this guy down because we got to bring him.
Whoa! Take it easy. I think the fact that what he was able to do with the turnstile at the quarterback position, to me, that says something. For you to be able to do what he did, make some of the plays that he did with Tyrod, with Tommy DeVito. I think that says something. And I
got a couple people pinging me. I'm going to get to the chat, but I want to ask Rob one more question before I get to the chat. And we got to burn through some of these questions. And thank you for the 130 something people that are in here between Twitter and the other places. I just wanted to go back to Brian Burns a second because I had two questions on the Brian Burns Kayvon Thibodeau pairing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do use the air quotes, the pairing.
Mm-hmm.
One is from a fan perspective. What do you think is going to happen the first game that these guys disappear together? That these guys, the first game that neither one of them has a quality tackle or a sack. What do you think is going to happen with the New York Giant fan base? Because it's going to happen.
I think they're going to blame the defense coordinator.
Do you think that's where they're going to go?
100%.
Okay.
You'll have some people that will, because all right, so let's be fair. You're not going to shit on the trade, but I could see them kind of treating Burns like how some fans were treating Waller this year, where you made the trade, waged, you gave him all that money. So people might shit on Burns because of the money that you gave him, not on the trade, because the trade is good. You can't really shit on the trade. The trade was a great trade.
Right. I don't think it was a great trade. It was a fair trade.
I think it was
it was a fair trade because you had to pay him.
Correct. But that's probably the main reason why it was as cheap as it was.
Carolina was not willing to give this guy 5 years, $141 million. You can't get out of the Burns contract till 2027 and you're still going to owe him $14 million.
Yeah. So I think you're not really going to shit on the trade. You're not really going to shit on the trade perspective. The Brian Burns thing will get shit on, because the contract that they gave him. People right now are already kind of shitting on Kayvon Thibodeau. They shit on his, consistency and shit like that. And I think that will continue. And then they're going to blame the defense coordinator, Shane Bowen. They're going to blame him.
Well, then this kind of brings back to, actually I have two questions. Shane Bowen is known, his Tennessee days is known for trying to generate a rush with the front four. That's what he's known for. I mean, you go back and watch all the film you want. But he also has a tendency at times to drop his ends into coverage. When he's because he only blitzes about 25% of the time. He likes to generate the rush if he can with a smaller percentage of with the 4-man front. Do you think that Burns and Thibodeau, from what we've seen the body of work, can play in that type of that type of defense where they're going to probably be asked to do, and this is going to kind of lead up to my next question, kind of going to be asked to do some things that beyond just go after the quarterback?
Well, let's be fair. Kayvon was kind of doing that already,
and he didn't do well.
with Wing, and he wasn't really doing it like he had moments, but for the most part, it wasn't performing well. Burns, on the other hand, I think is a little bit more of a versatile player. That I think could go ahead.
We'll just leave that up for Rob. That's how well he did.
That I think that Burns is a little bit more of a athletic and more well-rounded player, where I think you could drop him into coverage and he's just athletic. I think he's on a different athletically, like an athletic level to Kayvon. So I think that he could do it. Ultimately, I really am interested to see. I think that they could work. I think it's really going to be the guy that I think is really just going to be better than what he was is Dexter. Look at what man, what's his fucking name? It's not Justin, his first name, but the guy Simmons from Tennessee, the defensive lineman Simmons.
Yeah.
I don't remember his first name, but I think his last name is Simmons. Very, very productive player. And they kind of moved him around, but very, very productive. And he was all over the field when we played him last year. He was all over the field, making plays in the backfield. And I think that Dexter is a better football player. So voice crack. Hello. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's going to be slow. I would advise Giants fans to be patient for the first few weeks. I know that's asking.
Have you met our fan base?
I know that's asking a lot, guys. But
have you
I would say give it a few
team?
weeks. I would say give it a few weeks, and then I think you're going to start to see him settle. Like, because how long did it? Would you say it really took our defense with Wink the first year? It took a few weeks.
Took a few weeks, but
it took a few weeks for them to kind of settle in a little bit.
Now, my last question, because I want to get to the chat. My last question about Kayvon and Burns, because you bring up Dexter Lawrence, and this is kind of what I want to talk about. Neither Kayvon or Brian are, I will say, known for their run-stopping prowess. Their ability to consistently, I should rephrase it, their ability to consistently maintain their assignment, hold their edge, and force the play back into the center of the field, which would be your strength with Dexter Lawrence. If you do not have two gentlemen that are not known, and we've watched it last year, how many times literally did we watch teams just run to the outside? Literally run to the outside against Kayvon Thibodeau.
I mean, Kayvon. I mean, we got to talk here. You're getting blocked by Jalen Hurts, Kayvon. Come on.
Kayvon got blocked. Kayvon at times got manhandled by tight ends. Now, Brian, I will say Brian is more athletic, but Brian has his own issues. You, outside of Bobby Okereke, are not in with a plethora of linebackers that I feel can because you're gonna need at least two quality outside linebackers that are gonna have to be on each of these guys to help maintain the assignment, to help maintain the gaps, help maintain the edge.
Yeah.
Because if these two guys are gonna go straight at the quarterback and they over pursue, they are going to leave like Kayvon did. They are going to leave wide open lanes. And to your point, the strength of this team should be Dexter Lawrence, a good defensive end, an O.C. Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, hell, Keith Hamilton, understood, that you push the play back into the center of the field, especially if that's your strength.
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to do that successfully enough? Because like I said, for all intents and purposes, for how well Wink's defense played, even going back to Patrick Graham's last year, we were porous against the run on numerous games. And like I said, I go back to years ago when I watched that Cleveland preseason game, and I got on the mic that day and said the league has figured out how to beat the Giants: off tackle left, off tackle right, running up the center, over the top, and that's what teams did that year.
Yeah,
and I got Joe Judge fired, but thank God for that. But do you think that Kayvon and Brian are going to play well enough to have the ability to understand they can't just go after the quarterback? And especially in Shane Bowen's defense, they're going to have to do this because you bring up Simmons, and you're right. Simmons was more athletic. Simmons was more around the ball. But are they going to have the ability to maintain their assignments, maintain their edge against the run, and teams aren't just going to wait till they over pursue and then just either run a draw or just run a jet sweep or run a screen or run something else because they got these guys out of space and we don't have the linebackers behind them or the safety, because we had a guy that could play in the box and played 100% of the snaps. We don't have him anymore because we right now got Pinnock, Jalen Mills, and don't even get me started on that, and and our own buddy Dane Belton. Dane Belton, of course, who had those 3 turnovers, but he never had he never had a touchdown. He didn't like to give up because he gave up 4 straight touchdowns on the trailer. No one wants to talk about that. We don't have the guys behind him.
Yeah, I think that Brian is better on the edge as far as like in the run game than Kayvon is. Baldy did a really nice breakdown of a few different games where he doesn't get caught up in the wash. He knows how to kind of fight off and keep distance and knows how to break off a block when he needs to. I think that Shane Bowen, look, Kayvon's going to have to get better in this area. This is now going into your third year. You struggled year one and you struggled year two. And Shane Bowen is coming in here and Brian Dable talked about it. He is coming in here to stop the run. That's what he's coming in here to do. That's why they brought him in. The last 2 years, we've been absolutely atrocious against the run. Okay. We got demolished in the run. So my concern is that I think you're going to see a better run defense, but I believe that our pass defense is going to get a little bit worse than what it's been. And hasn't even been great, but it's going to get a little bit worse than what it was. But I do think that Kayvon is going to have to do a self-assessment on himself. And ultimately, I think that he's going to get better. I think that Shane Bowen is going to have him prepared and ready to go and play on the outside and forcing things on the inside. And the other thing that they need to do is they need to address the other interior defensive line as well. Guys that I would love to see them add, Brandon Dorless from Oregon, would love to see him come in here. Chris Jenkins Jr., everybody remembers Chris Jenkins. His dad played for the Panthers.
We did a video about him.
Played for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good player. Don't think that he would be available. Maybe if we still had 39, he might be. But at 47, if he's there and we still need a wide receiver, I'm kind of torn. I really am. But there's also other guys that you could get later on in the draft too. There's you got Sweat that you can get from, I believe it's from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He's a decent player. You could probably get him in the 4th or 5th round. And then there's another guy, Lloyd. I want to say is it Utah or is it? I can't remember the name, but
that would be Johnny Utah.
Johnny Utah. I was just talking about that movie the other night.
Zach Attack has just actually sent me some breaking news. We like to break news on this show. And the New York Giants have re-signed Daniel Jones to a 15-year, $1.5 billion deal to be the quarterback through 2039. So let's all congratulate Daniel Jones on signing that contract. I think this is some kind of rendering of him as the quarterback of the New York Giants in 2039. So I want to thank Zach Attack for breaking that news.
Is that a prosthetic leg on the left? Is that a prosthetic leg?
This is the picture I made this fit. Well, I didn't make this picture, but I made that picture when here's the original photo. I did it when it was Joe Shane, I think it was, came out and said, no, Brian Dale came out and said, well, Daniel Jones is throwing from a chair. So he looks good throwing from a chair. So I automatically went and on Photoshop and made a picture of Daniel Jones throwing from a chair.
Is that your body, but then his head?
No, it was funny. It took me forever to find a photo of a guy in a chair with a knee brace. I'm literally fucking Google like guy in chair with knee brace.
Guy sitting in, and it's a rocking chair too.
Yes. I want to thank the gentleman who actually had knee surgery. He was an older guy that I found the photo from on his website.
Unbelievable.
I do want to get to a lot of these questions. We got a lot of people asking questions. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, so I'm sorry if I'm missing some people because I see a lot of things going on. Because I also have a couple other questions. Chris D says this draft is going to be so crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
What do you think is going to be the craziest thing, Rob, that could happen? If you are, from your perspective as a Giant fan,
mm-hmm.
what would be the craziest shit the Giants could do, either good or bad, in this draft?
Bad,
good or bad? Could be either or. Could be both.
All right. So for bad, I would say trading out of the first round entirely.
Bad, not stupid.
That's how you end up with Kadarius Toney. But good is, dude. I'm still good is, I feel like, and I've said this before, I think at the end of night one, Drake May will be a New York Giant at the end of night one. I have Him and Michael him or Michael Penix. I'm gonna say I don't edit. Either Drake May or Michael Penix will be a New York Giant at the end of night 1.
What do you think the odds of Michael Penix being that? Because I would take Penix. I really would.
I would too.
I mean, but here's the thing that kills me, because you have some people that were like, I wouldn't take him at 6, but I would take him at 10.
Yeah, those. Oh, you mean the mentally challenged people?
Yes, that's why I love when people are like, well, we'll trade with trade with Minnesota, take him at 11.
Yeah, well, you have the people that are like, man, we have so many holes. Should we really, should we really like trade up for a quarterback? We need a corner. We need another lineman because we have fucking 9 already. But we need another one. We need to add depth in the linebacker room. We need a wide receiver. Yeah, because those really help you fucking win Super Bowls, like on a regular basis. Like, it's like Randy Moss, great receiver, never won a Super Bowl. Terrell Owens, great receiver, never won a Super Bowl. Jamar Chase, you don't know. Justin Jefferson, you don't know. Like, these guys right now, the only like top 5 wide receiver that I can remember that's won a Super Bowl is Tyreek Hill. The last 15 years, last decade. I think it legitimately is Tyreek Hill. And that's it. The last decade.
Well,
like, I think that's really it. If I'm wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong, but I think the last decade, Tyreek is the
receiver
who won a Super Bowl.
I would say elite. Guilty says, I have to come to the piece with the hatred of the whole Daniel Jones situation. And I believe the main reason for this is because I hate the Giants capologists even 100% more. If you hate Daniel Jones, we've talked about this before. We don't shy away from it anymore. Go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com and join the He-Man DJ Haters Club.
When he tripped against Philly.
Of course it is. You can get your own t-shirt, your own hat, your own mug, and you could be part of. I am the president, of course, of the He-Man, He-Man, Daniel Jones, our DJ Haters Club. Go get your merch now. That's on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Make sure you go get that. Oh my God. I have to.
Hey, I got a question.
Shoot.
Do you think Daniel's going to be there when you go to ask questions to the football players?
I'm not sure I'm going to be invited to the rookie symposium.
Listen, when you go there, if you go back, just be like, tell them your question is for so and so, and then when you get up there, be like, "Hey DJ, how's the knee?"
I don't think they're going to let me do that because I did that last year.
Oh man, no, but you got to really tell me. No, I'm serious this time. I'm going to ask Brian a question.
I've told,
and then when you get the mic, Brian, I was going to ask you, how you and Wink were doing, right? But that's clear. Daniel, how's the knee?
I told the story a million times. I went up when you go to the rookies, not the rookie symposium, it was the town hall. I went to the town hall. I got in line, and the lady goes, "Who do you want to ask your question for?" I said, Kayvon Thibodeau. And the lady was like, "Okay, well, James said Kayvon Thibodeau too." So they let James go first. She's like, "We don't want to have 2 Kayvon Thibodeaus back to back. We're going to have Kayvon Thibodeau. Then we're going to have a Daniel Jones question. Then we'll have your question for Kayvon Thibodeau." So I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, you're going to have 2 Daniel Jones questions in a row too. So they let James go first. And then the Daniel Jones question went up. Then I came up and asked my question. The lady's like, "Sorry, I lied."
You could always just be like, "Well, James asked my question, so I couldn't come up with another question."
James' question was, "Go beat Dallas." That was James's question. It wasn't much of a question. But I don't know if I'm going to be invited this year. So
probably not. Tim from online? But no, we're not. No, he's not coming.
Considering Bob Papa still thinks he hates me, I still don't know why. I still love that. To get called out by Bob Papa and to sit there and look at him and go, "Bob, it's not."
Do you know who am I?
You're thinking of and then for him to blow me off at the rookie symposium when I'm yelling at him down the hall because he still thinks I'm the wrong guy. I'm still upset about that.
You've got the wrong Tim.
And I'm still upset about a lot of things. I'm still upset about Carl Banks. You're about
to put him up on the. You're about to put.
I am not going to put Carl Banks up on the screen.
That would be just wrong.
See, I was nice. I used the deep voice.
I didn't use that voice. Hey Tim, why you keep picking on me?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I loved it though. I got him to admit he was a homer though.
You know who the next guy you got to start trolling is?
I
Fucking
don't follow anybody.
You got to start fucking making fun of Paul Dottino,
Who's that?
the fucking guy that goes that does was it the Big Blue Kickoff or whatever with fucking John Schmelk?
I don't know who John Schmelk is.
You know who John Schmelk is?
No, sorry.
They do the videos on YouTube for the Giants.
Okay, let me tell you. I'm gonna break down my top video watching for the Giants on YouTube right now. Online Big Blue Sports. I watch you sometimes in the Twitter Spaces, and Bad Dog once in a while.
You don't watch my YouTube?
Do you even make YouTube?
Yeah, I do. I just made 2 fucking videos recently. I have to make another one tonight. Yeah, I do.
No,
the nerve, unbelievable, Tim.
Rob, I meant I watch your YouTube videos all the time.
I put them on repeat.
Wait a minute, you were lying. Hold on, everyone.
I did. I just uploaded 2 videos.
You're fucking lying.
I swear to God.
For a second, I'm going on YouTube.
I swear to God, bro.
What is it under then? R0B. Is that what it's under?
Yeah, R0B. Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. Well, I'm not the only one because you got one video that has no views. What is going on here?
What are you talking about?
I'm looking at Rob 0B. Giants make a big slash. No views 2 days ago. Or is that on
40? It says 45.
No, that one says New York Giants major 2024 update. Oh, wait a minute. Let's listen to Rob.
Yeah, I did one 2 days ago and then one 6 days ago.
Shut up, I got to hear the big time news. I like your graphics.
I made that.
I like your graphics a lot.
I actually made that. So there's a thing, which is called
graphics.
No, smart ass. No, it's so I went on YouTube and I looked up because I've been wanting to make like a YouTube.
Wait, you're on YouTube?
So I've been wanting to make like a YouTube intro because I was just using my my transition for like when I stream with my logo on it, and I didn't really like that. So I looked up like a YouTube video, and I guess Microsoft has a free program that's called Clipchamp.
Okay.
And you can download it from like the Microsoft store, and I made that from Clipchamp.
I like your hopefully everyone's amused that I'm doing a YouTube show or whatever this is all called, and I'm watching YouTube on someone else's YouTube, but I can't figure out how to share it. I like this. I like your background.
Thank you. I changed it up. I changed it. I changed it. Well, that is my my intermission overlay, and then I changed the lighting back here. So this like my monitors here used to be, if you remember, used to be like all blue.
Yeah.
So I decided to make those red. And then I've got a Near Giants LED sign up here.
Let me see it. Turn the fucking camera. How hard is it?
I can't turn the camera, but I can show you.
Why can't you turn the camera?
Because I don't want to lift it up off my monitor. All right, hold on. Let me
lazy. It's a little lazy here, guys. We're gonna get to the comment section. I gotta see Rob's house. Oh, that's nice. I like that. And look at this. You got a light thing for like doing videos, and you got a light thing. That's nice. All right. For those that do not know, I like that too. I like that. You got the belt up top there. You got the jerseys hanging. Why don't you put them in jersey boxes?
I probably could.
For those that do not know, Rob's got a YouTube channel. It's called Rzerob.
It's called Shits Are Us.
Go to Rzerob. That's kind of a weird name for a channel, but it's Rzerob. It's called Rzerob.
Go watch Rzerob.
Watch Rzerob. He's a great new video channel for the New York Football Giants. There's no, all seriousness, I did not know you were making videos.
Yeah, I'm going back to like making content and stuff.
You know it'd be funny? Another man would be embarrassed. Not me. Greg says, listening to my guys on my pods have work in 2 hours. Hit that like button. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Let's go get Penix. We also have Chris saying, let's trade with the Vikings, get Penix at 11, then take Brian Thomas Jr. at 23, QB at 47. We just can't do it. We discussed that. Hirsch Reels says, Matt, she has to work for it. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Miguel says, I don't know about Burns being a deal. Lol. He only had 8 sacks and no tackles. I'm not saying he's not a big deal. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying if you look at his body of work, we made the mistake, Rob, by paying
King of the
Almost sack.
for having a career year. And we forgot to look at the other 6 years of his career. We forgot what he did with the Jets. We forgot what he did with the first year with the Giants. We paid him like he was going to have 11 and a half sacks, 70 tackles. We paid him like he was Aaron Donald.
Yep.
And he did not turn out to be Aaron Donald. Kevin says we don't have a right tackle for Penix. What do you think is going to happen with the tackle position? I know there was the rumor and speculation that Evan Neal was going to be moved to guard, and it is now come out that Evan Neal is not moving to guard, that he's going to be staying at the tackle position.
Where did this come out?
It came out like 2 weeks ago, like a week ago.
From who?
Evan Neal. And Evan Neal.
You mean the burger flipper? I'm just kidding.
I'm
sorry, Evan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Came out and said he was asked to do it, but now they're telling him he doesn't have to do it.
He's moving to guard. If I had to make a guess with you right now, I think he's moving to guard. And the only real reason why I'm thinking that is the last 2 years, Jermaine Illuminor has performed really, really well at right tackle with Cameron Brasillo being the offensive line coach.
Right.
I just cannot see, unless Neal takes a jump, I just don't.
You mean Cam Fleming 2.0?
I just, Jermaine? I think Jermaine Illuminor is a better player. Jermaine Illuminor is a good player.
I think he's Cam Fleming 2.0. They thought so highly of him with the Raiders that they didn't give him basically a minimum type deal.
Did you watch Baldy's breakdown of him? Do you see what he did to Dexter Lawrence?
Okay.
I'm just saying, bro.
I'm going to help you because you're a Giant fan. One game, 8 or 9 plays does not define a career. John Runyon Jr. And we've talked. You and I haven't talked about this, but I talked to people that are in Green Bay, people that work in Green Bay media, and those that do not know, I am also a owner of the Green Bay Packers. I have Green Bay Packers stock. A lot of people don't know that. They said in Green Bay, this is a guy that's been a 5-year, whatever many years start, 3-year start, 5-year start. What exactly?
He's been with them 4 years because
he's a 4-year starter
or 6th round.
The nicest thing that a lot of the people that work in sports media and around the Packers said was he will be a very good pass blocker. But they even said the Packers put a notion on it and said if he says he wants $10 million, we're not going to sign him. He was also referred to in Green Bay media as the weakest link on the Packers line. And they said that if you're going to pull him as a guard, don't, because he has a tendency to end up on the ground. He has a tendency to trip over his own feet, and he has issues with pre-snap penalties. This is from Green Bay Packers. This isn't from me. And I love it because he only got $6 million this year. So Green Bay, who was a playoff team, who beat Dallas, thought so highly of him that for $6 million, they opened up a starting spot with their guard, who, if you remember, the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season going into the playoffs was alternating with another player at the guard position. But we still signed him, and we're talking like as if we signed John Runyon Sr. Philadelphia John Runyon Sr., not the...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah, not Titans one. When I was over the Titans. But this is what
he was actually ass with the Tennessee Titans.
He really was. He was people.
Well, listen, maybe John
the Strahan battles, but he was bad in Tennessee.
Dude, he was very good in Philadelphia. But look, maybe this will be like his Philadelphia moment. You know, he was bad in Green Bay. He'll come to the Giants and he'll be a Hall of Famer, or he'll just be really, really bad.
Or it's a Glowinski.
I don't think it'll be that bad.
We said the moment we signed Glowinski, my first question, I always automatically was deemed a hater. I said, was Glowinski a product of the blocking scheme that they ran in Indianapolis, or was he just turning into a good player? Because he was less than pedestrian before he got to Indianapolis.
They had 4 good players in Indy. They had Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly is a very good center in the league. You had Brandon Smith, who was their right tackle. And then I think they had Eric Fisher, who was still a decent player at the time.
Yeah.
You know, that was playing. So they had like 4 decent guys. I said the same thing. Like Mark Lewinsky was an upgrade from what we had in Will Hernandez, because Will Hernandez was terrible.
But sometimes upgrade from garbage to trash isn't that much better.
But the thing is, though, John,
we paid him like he wasn't trash.
True. But John, to me, is slightly different because Green Bay didn't really have like big time names. I think their highest lineman that was graded for them, I think was their right tackle. Was he a rookie or second year player, Walker or something like that?
My question is this to you. I think he was a 4-year starter on the line on a team that went to the playoffs and a team that beat Dallas. And for $6 million, and this is what I asked my friend in Green Bay, why wouldn't you bring him back? And his question was also, he's like, don't ask him to run block. He's a good.
That's why
he's very adept at pass blocking, but he's like, don't ask him to run block.
That's why I think Neal, dude, would be a better guard. Because I think Neal can pull. Neal is, bro, this guy is 6'8", 300 pounds, and he can jump on top of fucking boxes. Like, he is a freak athlete for his size. So, like, that's why I think, dude, he would be such a good guard. I think he would be a very good guard. And if he's not willing to move, like, because he just doesn't want to, like, then you're basically going against everything you said when you got here. Like, when you got here, you said, I'm going to do whatever they need me to do. You know, I just want to prove to them that I'm here. I just want to play football, and I want to, you know, help out my team. Kayvon
said he was getting 17 sacks his first season. So I guess he didn't do what he said he was going to do.
I know. I think when the offensive line, because that's like one of the video, like in the video that I did, I talked about Jermaine Illuminor and I talked about John Runyon. The thing I like about John is they were a balanced offense in Green Bay, even when, you know, Aaron was there, you know, because they had Aaron Jones. It wasn't like he was coming from a slated or like one side, like passing or running. Like they were somewhat balanced. And Jermaine Illuminor was good the last couple of years, and he's a versatile player. He can play guard, he can play tackle. Like, he's a versatile player. So I think the way it's going to end up being is it's going to be Thomas at left tackle, Evan Neal at left guard, JMS, John Runyon, Jermaine Illuminor. I think that's going to be your offensive line. And I think that's going to work. I just don't see a world where Brasillo working with Jermaine. It comes down to this.
Okay, but
off of what you've seen the last 2 years of Neal and what you've seen Jermaine do. And I get it. Like, Jermaine is not banging down doors. I get all that. Jermaine has outperformed Neal. Like just in his footwork and his capabilities.
Evan Neal has said it best, and I give credit for him. He's made the stupid burger comment. Of course, that was just moronic, but I give him credit for saying something that was extremely truthful. And he said, I could have 40 plays in a game, and
you only got the one bad one.
Three of them could be bad, but no one's talking about the other 37. If you actually go back and watch some of his games, yes, he got smoked. Yeah, 100%. But there was also times when, and I think this is where, you know, your buddy Bobby Johnson would have come in, because I think he really could have worked with him even more if it had that extra year. I think this, if you want to say that Bobby Johnson was a detriment to the Giants in reference to the growth development of Evan Neal, why wouldn't you give him under the tutelage of a new offensive line coach the opportunity to prove that if he improved his Evan Neal's biggest issues are always going to be even going back to college. He's a little slow off the ball.
Size, yeah.
I think he's got to work on his foot. He's got to work on his footwork a little bit. And I think that's what's slowing him down coming off the ball.
And I get out of his stance quick.
And I think he comes up too upright on certain plays, which is not allowing him any leverage, not allowing him to grab anyone, and people are just going around him. And I think when you watch him use proper technique, he's not bad. And I think right now he would still be, if you coached him up, better than any right tackle the Giants would have on this roster.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Jermaine Illuminor, I think, has very, very good footwork. He gets out of his stance very good. Look, I'm not saying that I don't want Evan to compete. Like, I want there to be a competition for the right tackle spot. And and it's probably not going to be this, but if I'm them, I'm having that competition until the first preseason game.
Right.
And then after that preseason game, based on who performs the best, that's who my right tackle is going to be. Because it shouldn't take you all preseason to find out who your fucking right tackle is.
But here's the only issue I have with that. If you are truly going to consider a move to right tackle, it's got to be from jump. It's got to be from Jump Street. It's got to be right when not even before training camp, right when the veterans come in for camp, for any type of camp, for anything, for any workouts, you have to then move him to right tackle. I mean, to right guard.
Jermaine?
Evan Neal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying,
well, my thing is, like, when you're going through camp,
you can't have a competition. You have to move him immediately, because you can't have this competition and then have him lose and then say, well, we're just going to put him at guard. Well, the Giants.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're doing the competition,
stuff like that before.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, when you're doing the competition, when Illuminor's playing tackle, give Neal reps at guard.
Right.
And when Neal is getting reps at tackle, then let Illuminor play guard. That should be the only flip-flopping that is happening this offseason. If you want to put John at left guard and right guard and you want to flip sides with him, okay. But the real competition where you're flipping guys like this, like flipping burgers, it should only be Illuminor and Neal swapping. That should be the only that should be it. That should be it. Personally, in my opinion. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll see. But that should be the only competition that we're really having, unless they draft a guard, right? Unless they draft a guard, and then at that point, if you draft a guard high, like you draft like a Cooper Beebe, or personally, what I would like them to do, because he might be available and they've dealt with it before, I would go after Zach Zinter. Is that his name? I would go after Zach Zinter from Michigan and redshirt him this year. You've dealt with a guy that's had that kind of an injury. Supposedly, we were talking on this basis, he's going to be sending, videos of him working out. He's already been working out. He's already been lifting and stuff like that. He's going to send it to teams and stuff like that. That would be a guy that you've already dealt with that with Nick Gates, so you know how to deal with it. Your training staff dealt with it. I would draft him if he's available in the 4th or 5th round and redshirt him this year and let him, compete next year. Because let's be honest, if he didn't break his leg, the guy's a first-round pick. He's going in the first round.
For those that don't know, this is Rzerob. Make sure you go to Rzerob, subscribe to his channel. He's one of those giant content creators we talk so much about. It's the Rzerob. Let's see. The Barber's comment. If you want a quarterback, you trade up and get him. If you're positive that he's going to be there at 6, depending on how things unfold, you take him there. You don't trade back into the first round for a lesser quarterback. I agree 100%.
Correct.
Let's see here. Marcus Golden 2.0. We're talking about, I don't know. I'm so far behind.
I think that's Brian Burns.
I'm an hour behind on the chat, and I do apologize, guys. Joe 2 times says, don't think about individual performances.
Get the papers.
Get the papers. I'm gonna go get the papers.
I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers.
Now I don't even want to read your comment anymore. Because that went over so well. Guys, there's too many comments. Why fucking people leaving comments? I'm like,
Fucking comment.
Oh, like Jason. I love both of them. I don't know who Jason. Lamar says,
We love you too.
I'm here. Let's talk. We always talk.
What are we talking about?
Jason says also nothing really to like Kayvon. You think about all the hype. Kayvon was supposed to be Mr. Parsons, and he averaged ended up an average Joe. I
never said he was going to be Micah Parsons.
No, I think
to me that sounds like some delusional Giants fans.
I don't think he's going to be that. I don't think he's saying you said that. I think he's saying
no. But I don't think. Like the people that I interact with, nobody said he was going to be Micah Parsons, but there were probably some, delusional Giants fans out there in the Twitterverse that thought that he was going to be better than Micah Parsons or on par with Micah Parsons, and he's not. Micah Parsons, now that Aaron Donald has retired, is probably the best defensive player in football overall, and I would argue number 2 is Dexter. I think Dexter is the second. I think Dexter Lawrence is the best defensive lineman in football now that Aaron Donald is gone. And I would say that Dexter's arguably, he's top 3, the best defensive player, one of the best defensive players in football. Like he's definitely in the top 5, maybe not top 3, but top 5.
Speaking of former Giant greats, when we were talking about defensive linemen, Tim, those players you mentioned are all former great Giants greats. We don't have anyone near as good or even close. Well, I also mentioned Keith Hamilton and Matthias Kiwanuka. So I wouldn't say
Matthias Kiwanuka is
and Keith Hamilton.
Aziz Ojulari. It could be Aziz Ojulari. It could be our Kiwanuka.
I don't think those guys were great. I think they were good Giant players. That's why I tried to name.
What about Dave Tollefson? Everybody remember Dave Tollefson?
Dave Tollefson. I actually remember that. Let me see here. Nick W says, Tim, what's going on? We got King Thrill said DJ is trash. And I think that's an insult to trash. We have James Williams. I hit the like button because you always have to do it. James says, OG Knockout says, you're right, Paul is delusional. I don't know. Hey, Rob, you forgot about Mike Evans on Tampa, OBJ. Oh, yeah, we did forget about Mike. Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans and Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp. I'm not going to go OBJ because
I'm not going OBJ. I'm not going
OBJ because he was like he was like semi-cooked. Like, now, not cooked, but he was not in a top 5, top 10 conversation at that point.
Even a cooked OBJ would be the best wide receiver we have on this roster.
100%. But you're right. I'll go with Cooper Kupp and Mike Evans. But here's the thing too, like Mike Evans to that. See, the thing with Mike Evans, and I don't mean to get totally off board with that, but Tom Brady was on that roster.
Yeah, but he was Mike Evans before Tom Brady.
Correct. But it's like
yard seasons with.
Yeah. But the thing is like he was Mike Evans. You're correct, but they didn't win anything until Tom got there. So yeah, Mike was a good player, but you can make the same thing for Tyreek Hill too. But I'll say you're right on that.
OG says Bad Dog is a homer as well. That's why I watch Rzerob. One of the
although Bad Dog wants Penix. He's a Penix. He's a Penix guy. He is. Wait. Seen the light. What movie is this from? I'm gonna guess. I want you to tell me what. He's seen the light. He's a changed man.
No.
Ready to rumble, dude. Ready to rumble. Remember with the King?
Yeah, but that's not what we do here.
I know, but
that's not what we do here. If you want to be on this show, you have to stay with it, Rob. Come on. I didn't know he was are you saying?
Do you see the light?
He's seen the light.
Have you seen the light? Yes! Jesus H. goddamn Christ! I have seen the light!
So Bad Dog has seen the light.
Yes.
But what happened to Daniel Jones? He was
out. I think after the Seahawks game, he was out.
I have to admit, I have not watched the Bad Dog video in a long time. And
I'm just going off what I heard.
I'm going off
what I heard, that he's a huge Penix guy.
I thought he was a Daniel Jones guy.
He was supporting of Daniel Jones in 2022 and going into the offseason of 2023. From what I heard after the Seahawks game, He saw
Didn't
the
he-
light.
Someone sent me, didn't he make a Daniel Jones apology video, or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
A lot of people made a lot of stuff for Daniel Jones.
I
We
didn't-
had apology forms that were being handed out that I used as toilet paper.
I made some for
Wow.
Daniel Jones.
You know,
I made some for him as well. The He-Man
Yeah.
DJ Haters Club. Make sure you go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com and go buy your stuff. But no, I really did. I thought he was like it's firmly entrenched. And I'm
No,
not
he's-
bad dog.
he wants them to go quarterback. Like he wants a new quarterback. He wants
does
them to
want
take a quarterback.
He does want him to go quarterback. He does
Yeah,
want-
I think he wants him to go quarterback unless if they took Neighbors or a Dunze, I don't think he'd be upset either. But but he likes Michael Penix.
okay.
How do I rank the QBs?
Yeah.
Ooh, Caleb 1, Drake 2. Do you want me to include an injury? I'm just going to give you my rank.
Well, just
Caleb-
your top five quarterbacks.
Caleb, Drake, Penix, JJ, Jaden. But JJ and Jaden, like you could flip flop them if you want. I'm kind of like this, that with both of them. But that's my top 5.
That's interesting because I go Caleb, I go Jaden, I then go Penix, and then I go May, and then I would go McCarthy.
Everybody's got their own flavor.
Yeah, but I'm right. So I mean,
You're right.
read the
You're
fucking
absolutely
hat.
What do I fucking know?
What do you fucking you know?
I'm just here.
You're not like Rzerob.
I'm not R0ba. That
You're
guy,
not
R0ba,
Rzerob.
he knows.
Him on the show. If you do not know, go to rzeroba.com and you can hear content like this. Oh, I just love the video, man. It's like it spins and it oscillates and it breaks apart. Okay, I'll spy.
R0ba.
I'm gonna tell you, Rzerob, dude, has stole your entire persona.
I know, man. He looks just like me.
I don't know. Well, no, you're better looking. That guy's just fucking ugly.
Thanks, pal.
OG
Even with the-
says
even
we're
with the
going
gray.
with the gray, 47 years old. OG says we're going 6-11. I'm calling it now. He's calling it now. James says if we didn't let Philly jump us for Devontae Smith, then a wide receiver wouldn't be as big as an issue. We would just need someone to pair him with.
So here's the thing, though, James. Did we allow it?
Because we also
Did Dave Gettleman be like? I don't think that Howie called Dave Gettleman and say, "Hey, we want to jump you for Devontae Smith. Are you okay with that?" And well, then again, this is Dave Gettleman we're talking about, so maybe he did say yes, but I don't think that we allowed them to jump us.
I still have this nightmare. Josh Allen, linebacker, Kentucky,
Mhm.
and Parsons. Two guys were right there.
Yeah, but if we took Josh, we would have never been in the conversation for.
Yeah, because we might actually won some games.
No, but I'm saying if they took Allen, they wouldn't have drafted Parsons 2 years later.
Sure, they was a defensive lineman, and he's listed as a linebacker, but he plays majority of the time with his hands in the dirt.
Who?
Josh Allen. I watch Jacksonville games all the time.
Yeah, but they run a 3-4. He's on the edge.
Yeah, but a lot of times he's got his hand in the dirt.
Yeah, but Kayvon does. I think he plays the same position Kayvon does.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau, majority of his sacks came with his hand in the dirt.
Yeah, I'm just saying
So yes, I would add Josh Allen and Parsons on this defense because you have an all-world linebacker, which you don't really have to position. You could say he's an inside linebacker. You can say he's an outside linebacker. You can rush him from the defensive end spot. Hell, you can put him in the middle of the field. Hell, you can drop him into coverage. While I have number 41, who had 17 sacks this year, fucking wreaking havoc. But don't worry, I got Daniel Jones, so all is good. Will says, "What's up, Tim?" A lot of stuff. Okay, let's go on the next one. Jason said, "Sorry, how do you feel about the wide receiver Leggett out of South Carolina? I think he's gonna be a monster, and if we pair him with a stud quarterback in the draft, oh boy, where do you think he's going?"
I like Leggett. To me, I would like us to get him if we could.
But where do you think he's going? I know you would like him, but where do you think he's going?
I think he's going to go in the second round. I think anywhere, probably from the 40. I think he'll probably be on the board potentially. Like he's got a chance to be on the board when we pick at 47. Like if we draft a quarterback at 6 or they move up and get a guy, and they still have pick 47, I think that's a guy that could be there at 47. And I know some people say, oh, well, they don't like that. Well, they were going after that. Oh man, what's that guy's name last year? Got drafted by Carolina.
Brian Burns,
the wide receiver coming out last year. Carolina took him in the 2nd round. Oh, what the fuck is his name? I can't think of his name.
Oh shit. Zach, put it in the chat, but go ahead.
But like similar player, very similar player. So if they were interested in him, which is I would love for them to Jonathan Mingo. Yep, Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah,
similar build, 6'2", 6'3", big, physical. So and they really liked Jonathan Mingo. So I think Xavier Legette is a guy that they've got their eye on for sure.
Jason says Evan Neal got molested and thrown to the ground by D's half his weight. Just gonna leave that up there for Jason a second. There you go, Jason.
I was gonna make a really, really bad joke.
Go for it.
I can't because it's kind of bad. That's kind of bad.
Makes it good. Come on.
I wonder if Evan Neal was hanging out with P. Diddy a lot.
I can't even do that. That was actually bad. Okay, next on the show is our Rzerob. He'll be coming up soon.
I'm sorry, man. That's bad. That was bad.
But you know what? Just for you, because I don't want you to feel bad.
Thanks. thought I was gonna be in trouble there.
And the worst thing is, because you said that, I don't want to say, because of that comment you just made, I don't want to say what that sound effect is called. You know what that sound effect is called?
No.
It's called a rim shot.
That's what she said.
So I didn't want to say because after the comment.
Woo! All right, guys. Moving on to the next comment.
God is gonna save us. Thank you, Dave Gilliman. He was good with the draft, sucked with free agencies. We got a big old Swing Culture TV coming and say hit that like button. Oh yeah, guys, hit the like button. I forgot to say for like an hour and 42 minutes. What was OG said? Bad Dog still thinks the Giants and an O-line failed Daniel Jones. Is that true?
Look, realistically, the Giants.
No, I'm not asking realistic. Is that comment true?
I mean, look, there's legitimacy to the comment, but at the end of the day, like, that's not the entire reason why Daniel Jones failed. Daniel Jones failed because
he can't read defenses.
He's just bad. Like, he's just bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's bad. Like when you have Tommy DeVito coming in.
But wait a minute. Is he Michael Jackson bad or P. Diddy bad? You went down that rabbit hole, man. You went down.
Let's just say he's not singing "Beat It."
That's what she said.
But I mean, there's some truth to that. But ultimately, I think
I'm going on our Rzerob Buzz show.
Our Rzerob Buzz, yeah. Ultimately, I feel like when you're paid, excuses kind of go out the window, and you can't use those excuses. You get paid to overcome obstacles and overcome deficiencies,
right?
And when you can't, and you're a part of the deficiency problem, then you shouldn't have gotten paid in the first place. So
Will says Gelman was taking Saquon at 2 when the franchise depended on revamping at premier positions, holding up, trading up to for DeAndre Baker and company. Holy shit, that takes way. You know what? Okay, but I'm not even gonna get to the full comment. For everything you want to say about Gelman, I saw nobody complaining about the DeAndre Baker trade the day it happened.
So it wasn't until after they realized he was a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
But I saw no Giant complaining about it. I thought all I heard is how great of a trade it was. I wasn't a fan of it,
and that was a reach for a player too. Like,
I hate everybody evidently, so I wasn't a big fan of it. But I didn't see any of the Giant fans say anything different. I don't see anyone complaining about the Dexter Lawrence pick.
Nope.
I don't see.
Well, they were up until 2022.
You're right. Don't see anyone complaining now about the Andrew Thomas pick. I don't see anyone. I saw a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I saw some people complain about giving a quarterback $160 million who was not drafted by Shane. And I saw the Giants tag a player that was another pick by another general manager. So I've seen the light. I've seen Joe Shane sign.
He's a changed man.
He's a changed man. I've seen him sign multitudes of Dave Gettleman guys. So Gettleman must have done. I don't think he did a great job, but I think he did something right. Douglas says, "Hey Tim." He doesn't even acknowledge our Rzerob. Hey Tim, says Stanley and Rob. Oh God, now I'm not gonna read your comment. Jason says, hey Tim, says hey Tim and Rob. We already where do you think Worthy will be selected? And would you be happy if the Giants selected him in the second round?
I wouldn't mind Worthy. I feel like you already have Worthy already on the roster in Jalen Hyatt, although Worthy's probably maybe a little bit of a better prospect coming out. But if I had to guess the two teams, I think he's only going to go one of two places, Baltimore or Kansas City.
Okay.
So he's either going to be a Raven or he's going to be a Chief, one of the two.
Xavier, no,
he's going to go at the back end of the first round.
You think he's going to go to the back end of the first round?
Yeah. I'd say like him and Brian Thomas, I think will be like very picked in a very close to one another. I do. And Troy Franklin.
Hyatt, and correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say something about Jalen Hyatt. And I want to get your opinion. I was very high on Jalen Hyatt coming out of the draft.
You were high on Hyatt?
I was high on Hyatt.
That's what she said.
I was high on Hyatt. I was at a P. Diddy party with our Rzerob.
Oh, fuck. This is going to be the new fucking Bobby Johnson. This is going to be the new shit. I'm already seeing the Zach comments in my brain and everything like that.
I wasn't going to be upset if they took Hyatt in the first round. I wasn't going to be upset if they took him in the second. They ended up taking him in the third. I wasn't going to be upset if they took him because I thought he was that. I thought he could be that guy, and I didn't think he was relying on the Tennessee offense. I didn't think he was relying on Hendon Hooker. I just thought he was a very good player, good speed. He showed that he had some route running ability. I know certain people questioned it, but when he got into games, yes, there were times he got behind the defense. There were times that he was open and we did not get the ball to him. But there was also numerous times, Rob, that he got knocked off his route by bigger corners, by stronger corners, that he did not show the ability, even with his speed and his quickness. I said the same thing. I think he's going to be like Devontae Smith, where he's going to use his speed and quickness to get around defenders. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it.
Last year, I think the thing with
moments.
I saw, so he got like 40 or 43 targets last year. He had like 23 or 24 receptions, something like that. I saw moments where, like in the Raiders game, right? He got by two defenders.
Oh, no, I agree. There was times that he was he had 23 receptions for 373 yards, 16.2 yards of reception.
Yeah. Like
in 15 games. And he started.
He beat, like, there were a lot of times where he beat one-on-one coverages, or he even outbeat double coverage, safety over. And when I say double coverage, I mean safety over the top, corner trailing, stuff like that. Like, he was able to split the defenders. The problem is that the quarterbacks that we had playing really weren't able to get him the football. And so I think that there's something there. I think that Jalen could be a solid number 2, maybe a solid 3. But who knows? Like, I'll say this. Was it is it Malik Collins or Nico Collins? Nico Collins.
Nico Collins, everyone looks at this year, but he was pedestrian the other 3.
He was. So he never had a season where he barely went, like his few seasons he was there.
In his last season that he did in his first 3.
Exactly. He had, I think he barely, I don't even think he touched 500 yards.
No.
Stroud goes there and he has 80 receptions for 1,300 yards and I think like 10 or 12 touchdowns or something like that. Not to mention Tank Dell was on a tear as well
Before he got hurt.
before he got hurt, and they took him in the 3rd round. So
But
you could get a guy like Jalen.
But here's the thing with Jalen. This is what I'm talking about. He had his moments, yes, where he got behind the defenses, 100%. But he also had more moments where he couldn't get off the line.
And he's a rookie. He's a young kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to learn. I think
Smith was
with
a rookie
him,
when he was a young kid. And how many receptions did he have that first season?
who?
Devontae Smith.
I think Devontae,
Very similar
correct.
statured, very similar in skill set.
I think that, yeah, but Devontae and him are 2 totally different prospects.
Well, I'm saying that, but I'm saying in reference to physical abilities and size.
Oh,
and,
yeah, like physical, like speed and stuff like that. Yeah, I think Devontae is
definitely different prospects. Oh,
yeah,
well,
I think Devontae is a way better prospect. The thing with Jalen, you got to get a quarterback that can use his speed. Jalen is a guy that you can launch that ball and he can run underneath that. What I saw
around the defender,
and I think he'll be able to. The thing that I liked about Jalen, he's got very good hands, very, very good hands.
Well, here's
in my opinion.
Here's the
Pause.
thing that I was about to bring up. Pause, and I was waiting for this. What do you think his catch percentage was last year for a guy that had very good hands?
What are you basing that off of?
The actual catch percentage statistic.
Like, are you talking? Like, for me, if you're asking me that, I'm talking about
the average wide receiver is usually around like 72 catch percentage. So 72% of the times the ball is thrown to him, they catch the ball.
Mhm.
That would be slightly above average catch percentage for a wide receiver.
What was his catch percentage?
57.7. Now we talk about, and he had the same problem in training camp and preseason. And I remember, and I think it was the Seattle game, and there was another game that I was at. He also dropped passes that were right at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he dropped plays that a 3rd round pick should come down with. That's why I get concerned that I don't know if it's a lack of maybe it's a lack of concentration. I don't know, but I've seen a guy that is having difficulty getting off the line, and I see a guy that has a 57% catch percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I understand he's a rookie. I get it, and I had high hopes for him, like I said. But I think in some regards there might be more red flags than there are potential green flags in reference to him moving or progressing into year 2, because the majority of the time with NFL players, you slide, especially if you had a really good year, you slide back down to earth a little bit because of the film. That's all I'm thinking about.
No, look, and I agree with you. I think the thing, like, I'm not, and your points and I would say like your concerns and the points that you're making are valid. I guess for me, I don't ever really judge a player until like even, let's just say he came out here and he had 80 catches for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. And people would then at that point, because they were saying it, going into the season, he might be the next OBJ, right? I'm not going to put.
I was expecting, like I said, I was personally expecting like 600-700 yards, but I was looking at maybe 40 receptions and like an 18 yard.
Well, aren't you glad they didn't take him in the first round? Because if they took him at 25, like we're having a different type of conversation, right? Like,
as a 3rd rounder, you're just kind of like, if you fly,
you're kind of 3rd rounder. You're like, okay, like, look, we had a turnstile at quarterback. We were dealing with a lot of inconsistency offensively, and when he needed to step up and make plays, he made plays. Does he have things that he needs to improve on? Absolutely. And I think he's got the right mindset where he's going to focus on things to improve on them. You got to get a quarterback in here that's going to take advantage of his strength. And everybody, was kind of pointing out that cowboy thing and what's that skill set, and skill set is he's fast.
Yeah.
And he said he could run routes, and he can run some routes, but you've got speed and you've got decent hands. That's your skill set. And I think that he could be a big play guy, a field changing type of receiver. Like when you're at the 35, he can get you to like the 40, 45 yard line on a bomb.
Yeah.
But you got to have a quarterback that's going to be able to lay it out there for him. And so, we'll see what he does next year. And then, you really judge him going into year 3, because at that point, what he's got to, if he has a decent year, then he's got to build off of that. Right. If he comes out here and he's struggling this year again, are you struggling with the same things, or are you improving, or are you getting better? Right. Because at the end of the day too, like if they draft a quarterback and that quarterback is a rookie, right? Again, there's some inconsistency there. You got a rookie quarterback. He's learning the system, the system, but he's got to learn the system. He's got to try to justify and gauge your speed versus everything else. And we saw that at the combine. Some of these quarterbacks were a little bit off. Some of their passes were off because they're throwing to wide receivers that they don't know. They don't know their speed. They don't know any of that stuff, right? They gotta adjust. So we'll see what happens.
All right, let's get to the last couple of these questions, because I do want to get to a couple here, and I do have to get out of here. 5 years of living, having to live with Daniel Jones as your favorite team's starting quarterback has been torture. I do like this question a lot by Will. Who has been your favorite first-round prospect over the years, non-Giants included? I have one. I got mine. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go first.
I actually bought his jersey before everything happened as kind of an omen that I thought he was going to fall to the Giants or come to the Giants. And I was clutching the jersey, and I believe it's on the stream. And then someone came up to the podium and said, with the 6th overall pick, the New York Giants select quarterback Daniel Jones, Duke, Josh Allen. I have 3 Josh Allen jerseys, and I have 2 Jacksonville Josh Allen jerseys along with the 3. And I have a number 41 Giants Josh Allen jersey. That was one of my favorite players coming out of college. I thought he was going to be something special. And like I said, I was praying that somehow he was going to get past the Jets and fall to us. And I think we know what happened.
Yeah, we all know how that went.
That didn't go well.
Don't man. Man, it's tough. There were so many players that I liked over recent years. If I had to choose one player, man, dude, it's got to be. And I want to get his jersey, but I can't. I just can't. I can't. P.
Diddy.
No. Micah Parsons. I really liked Micah Parsons.
I have a number 11 person's jersey.
I know you do. Like I would get if I wanted to, like I would get his Penn State jersey. Like that I would get. But like I like Micah. I like Micah a lot. He's such it's such awesome to watch.
He really is.
And I'll be honest, like
watch him play.
I never got to see LT play, and I'm not putting him in that conversation. I'm not even putting him in that conversation. But if you didn't know who LT was, like I think that you have the capability potentially that you're watching like this generation's like impactful player, like not nearly as impactful as LT was, but on the same type of trajectory. If that's okay to say.
No,
like Micah just can do it all. He can do everything.
Drafted LT in 1981. They were a destitute team. They had not been to the playoffs in eons. They just came through a bad years with the 70s.
He carried them to the playoffs.
He carried them to that 81 playoffs. He carried them. And now you are also going to have to, you got to remember the crunch bunch behind me. where you got Bradley Van Pelt, Harry Carson, Brian Kelly, and Lawrence Taylor. But he changed not only the complexion of the franchise, but he changed the entire trajectory of a position
of the league. Yeah,
of the position.
He's the LT is the reason why Andrew Thomas got the contract he got.
That's right, because Joe Gibbs started using a left tackle. First, when LT, I'm not going to give it all into LT history because I could talk about LT forever. When LT first came in the league, they first tried blocking him with a running back. Didn't work.
That's going to go over like a fart in church.
This was in like the first like week. And then the next week they talk about how they chipped him with a tight end and then tried blocking him with running back. Didn't work. Not even, and this is in 81, his rookie season. This is before they actually statistically started the stats for sacks. And then they came up and it was Joe Gibbs. And I believe it was the second game that Joe Gibbs put one of the Hogs, a left tackle. I can't remember if it's Joe Jacoby. I can't remember who it was, on Lawrence Taylor. Still didn't work. But he then decided that I am going to use the tackle, the tight end, to try to block him. And then I'm going to have Joe Gibbs did, and he talked about this. I'm going to have the running back in the second level that if he got there, Lawrence Taylor, that he would help as well. Didn't work.
There's a great story that I appreciated. And a lot of people don't like this guy. I actually like him. I think he's very football intelligent. Mark Schlereth,
Bobby Johnson,
used to obviously play for Washington, former offensive lineman, and he was on First Things First at one point. This is when Chris Carter was on the show, and you had Nick Wright on there, obviously still, and he said we didn't call him LT, we called him Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Is what we called him.
I've heard that story many times.
And he said what we would do is we decided that the best way to slow him down was to go right at him to get as many hats on him as possible. He said because we had a play, they had a very good running back, very fast running back at the time, and they ran a sweep away from him, and they got blocks on him, and the guy was like 30-40 yards down the field, and Taylor chased him down and made him fumble the football. And I think Mark said he went up to him and said, "Don't you ever fucking run a play away from me ever again." But it was like, but they made the decision that after that, the best thing to do was just to run at him to try to slow him down, and hopefully that slowed him down in the pass rush. Didn't work. But that was their idea. But to be honest, like that's kind of like what teams are doing right now with Micah Parsons. They're going right at him to try to get as many hats on him as possible, and he's still making plays. Ultimately, he doesn't have the same level of impact. He's not carrying, the Cowboys to the playoffs. But I think this is going to be a big test for him and this defense this year. They lost some pieces. Dan Quinn, I think, is a big loss for them defensively. I know they brought in who the fuck did they bring in? I forgot who they brought in to be their defensive coordinator.
Doesn't matter. We're going to beat him anyways.
But yeah, right. We've closed the gap. But yeah, Micah was a guy that I wanted. A guy I liked coming out of college. Pause.
Why is no one talking about me? I was a good linebacker.
Sorry, Carl.
That was Rzerob.
That was Rzerob's take.
Rzerob is the one that did that.
Rzerob.
But the one thing that you brought up a good point about Parsons and Lawrence Taylor. I don't want to keep talking about this, but one thing that people don't remember, don't realize, especially in the first 5-6 years of his career, and one of those years he won defensive MVP and NFL MVP, they didn't move Taylor around. He was a right outside linebacker.
Can you imagine if they did?
They didn't. The genius, Bill Belichick, didn't say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to move him to the inside. I'm going to move him to the outside. I'm going to put him in. I'm going to put him in down lineman position."
And the thing is, he could play every linebacker position. He could play middle. He could play right. He could play left. He could play defensive end. He probably could have put him. You could have probably put him at defensive tackle, and he probably still could have.
Still would have.
So can you imagine if he was playing in?
But
could you imagine if he's playing in this day and age?
In his prime, he didn't
like take the calls like the calls away, right? Let's just say it was all the same type of football, right? As far as the hitting and all that stuff, but they had the knowledge and the know-withal to move these guys around at that time in the game of football. Like he would have been unstoppable. He was already unstoppable. He would have been I personally think he's the best football player ever play football.
Speaking of unstoppable. All I'm gonna say is this. Imagine that now you're in 2024 and you have Lawrence Taylor. Imagine you knew that he was only going to be coming from the right side. He was only coming from that right side.
And in today's football, oh yeah.
And but it's the same thing back in the 80s and the 90s. He was literally only coming from the right side. You knew where he was coming from, and you still couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop it. I mean, there are so many plays I watch. And someone sent me a highlight clip, and I think it was the Eagle game where he flattened Ron Jaworski from behind and kind of hit him, but he kind of hit him like this with his arms out, and because you know what, he even said I didn't go full force because I didn't want to kill him, but they knew he was coming.
Yeah.
I always go back to the Reuben Mays tackle, running back for the New Orleans Saints, where Taylor, and this was in 80, I think it was 86 or 87, I don't remember. Reuben Mays was running all the way on the left side, and Taylor ran the entire length of the field and dragged him down from behind for a loss. I mean, and this is a guy that was started all of his plays from one side of the field.
Yeah. The speed that he had was at that time during football was crazy. He was a freak, man. He was a freak. But that was a good question. He
was a P. Diddy. Stu says, not impressed with Wandale either, because you're smart. Neil is also a bust. You got a 2 for 2. It is 9:07 in the PM. We're gonna wrap it up because I gotta go walk the dog and stuff, and my kids got school tomorrow because they were off today.
Likewise. Yeah, my kids went back to school today, but they got school tomorrow too.
I forgot about that. How about those kids?
How many days until summer?
No freaking clue. Listen, my son will tell me, "Oh, we have a half day today," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't believe you." And
yeah,
then
my kids will try that too. I'm like, nah, you're full of shit.
But then the best thing is at like 12:15, I get a phone call.
Are you coming to get your kid?
Mr. OBB, are you coming to pick up your child? I'm like, oh shit, he wasn't lying. I have to go get him. Matthew says, have a great one, Tim. Always appreciate my brother. I appreciate you, Matthew. Rob, you got anything to say besides plugging that Rzerob show?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm back to making some content. I got to record. I'm gonna do one on the college quarterbacks. I'm gonna record that hopefully tonight, if not tonight, tomorrow, and get that up there. So if you guys can, R0B, follow me on YouTube, check me out. I'm gonna do one on wide receivers. I'm gonna try to get back into daily. I took some time off. I moved. I had a lot going on in my life. Between my dad passing, my buddy PTA, and just, I got 6 kids, and it's hectic here, and we've been like nonstop sick over here. Like every time I talk to Tim, I'm like, yeah, we're sick, we're this, we're that, whatever. Like, but it's starting to calm down a little bit, and so I want to get back into it. And then also, I do stream, trying to get back to streaming on a regular basis for anybody that likes video games. If you're into baseball, you're into MLB. I stream a lot of MLB. I'm also going to try to, for any wrestling fans, I'm going to try to get like WWE 2K24 and stuff like that and play. So come on by and support and hang out. Hit me with a follow. R0B on Twitter, on Twitch as well. And then I do stream on Twitter now too, or X. I stream there as well. Follow me there. So just trying to get back into that. The biggest thing that you guys can help me out with, honestly, truthfully, is liking, sharing, and subscribing to YouTube, and liking and following me on TikTok. I'm trying to grow my TikTok right now.
What's your TikTok? I'm assuming your TikTok handles
the same. Yeah, Rzerob. Yeah, I'm trying to get up to. I'm only like 190 something followers. I want to start to try to stream on there, so I've been uploading content on there. So if you guys can hit me up with a follow, when you get up to like 1,000 followers, you can then start to stream on TikTok. So I'm really trying to get into making consistent content on a regular basis. So I'd appreciate that very, very much. But that's where you guys can find me. Hit me up on Twitter if you ever have a question or you want to chat or BS. We do daily spaces on Twitter. It's been a little bit quiet because there's not really much to talk about. It's the same shit. Every day. Things will ramp up. And then for the draft, I was asked to go on New York Giants Rush. So I don't know how long I'm going to be on there for. I might ask to do night 2 there. I think I'm going to try to do something for night 1 because I always would do it with Pest for night 1 and hang out with him. So I'm going to try to.
You were helping us out.
Oh, is that what you'd like me to do?
I thought you were helping us out. Last time I checked, when I talked to you recently, you were.
Wait, did I? I might have forgotten. I apologize. I might have forgotten, so I apologize. So I will be with. Well, I'll be with the Dom.
You will be with Dom from the UK. You will be with Big Don from Texas.
Mr. Poppycockers himself.
Poppycockers will be there. Big Don P from Texas, who always was on the show, who was on the show last year.
Okay, cool.
I will be streaming live from the locker room.
Okay.
I haven't decided, but there's speculation that I may bring back a character from the very first live stream I've ever did, draft live stream. So Elvis may actually live stream from the Giants locker room.
Elvis back in the building?
Elvis might be back in the building. I haven't decided yet.
Let me tell you something, baby. If the New York Giants don't take a quarterback in this first round, hammer time, baby. Whatever. I don't fucking know, dude.
Those that do not know, those that do not aware. The very first Giant live stream I did in reference to the draft, I was literally dressed as Elvis for the first 3 hours, for the entire 3 hours. So I did it as Elvis. So people have asked me, will you go to the stadium dressed as Elvis?
That you're brave. You're brave for that. You're brave for that, man.
I still have the red sequence jacket hanging up over there. I still have the Elvis wig, and I still have
the sideburns.
I have everything.
Woo! All right, listen, baby.
You got it.
You got it. And listen, if we take a quarter, wait. Okay, so 2 things. Okay, I think we need a poll.
Okay,
on Twitter.
I don't know how to do a poll.
All right, so I will do a poll. I will do a poll on Twitter, and I will tag you in it. Okay, we're gonna do I'm gonna have a poll, and the poll is, okay, do you want him to go dressed as Elvis or Johnny Bravo? Okay, but if he goes as Elvis, if we take a quarterback, he has to do the monkey dance. He has to do it right there. Okay,
you know I will do the monkey dance.
Yes, I know because you were dancing last year.
That's not. I mean, people. I love when people are like, that would be so embarrassing. I'm like, you evidently go talk to my wife.
So
I am really embarrassing her for only 20 plus years. Thank God she is a saint.
Elvis, it's you guys. The viewers.
Wait. I have a better one, Rob, because I just found the clip. Hold on. I have a better one. I'm going to put this online. And you can determine which one you want me to be. Hold on, because I have 2 costumes. Because I forget I streamed the Knicks draft, and I have. Hold on, why are you gonna do this, Rob? Why are you gonna do this? You're gonna make me do this. No, you're not. Sorry. That's why I like Arzaba better than you. Because Arzaba wouldn't make me do this.
Arzaba would have ended the stream already.
Arzaba would have been gone already. But I will give you 2 choices. And I'm going to put this up right now. Hold on. Let me put the banner up. And you guys can choose or we can do a different character. And I will, depending on the number of votes and everything else, I will do this because I literally have no shame. I really don't. And I don't care what people think of me. I will do, well, let's take Matthew's comments off. I will do either one of these. I did this on the next stream. You can either have Elvis or you can have me in the Dumb and Dumber tuxedo. I have the full Dumb and Dumber Lloyd Christmas tuxedo.
Ooh, this is fucking tough.
So you can either have the draft stream Elvis, and I'll actually, you know what?
Do you have the cane?
Oh, I have it. I have the whole costume.
Ooh.
I have the whole costume, the top hat and all. I will do this. If Rob does a poll or whatever he does, or wherever he does it, and we come to a general consensus, I will get, if you pick Elvis, I will get a white sequence Elvis jumpsuit, full with the cape, the sequence bird cape, and I will wear everything from the wig
Wait,
to the
are we talking about like
the
from
white
3,000 Miles to Graceland type? That Kurt Russell wore?
the Kurt Russell one?
Okay.
I will
yes. Yes.
I will
Yes.
wear that. I will wear that.
Yeah.
Or I have this whole outfit still as well, but I have a better wig. And I will wear the entire ensemble in the Giants locker room. I will go full Kurt Russell, 3,000 Miles from Graceland, Elvis, or I will go full Lloyd Christmas in the orange tuxedo with the hat and the cane.
You gotta get the bowl cut wig. You gotta get a wig.
I have the wig.
I
I have the wig. But the problem is
I'm gonna make the poll tomorrow.
the problem is this: you have a top hat, so you can't see the wig. It comes with the top hat, so you have to wear the top. But here's the stipulation. There's always a stipulation. You need to have at least 50 people vote.
Oh, without question.
At least minimum 100 people.
I'll crush that.
You need to
I
have a
will crush
minimum 50 people vote. If you get a minimum of 200 people to vote, I will even, I have something else that I will do while I'm there in the middle of the field if we draft the quarterback.
Okay. Chat, you guys heard it here live.
I never back down. I have
You heard it
never
here live.
I have never not done something I said I would do. And I will say it again. You have a poll. It can either be full Kurt Russell. I can still wear this costume too, but I can do full Kurt Russell Elvis, or I can do Lloyd Christmas. I would do the Bigfoot costume, but I don't think they would let me in the stadium with that.
Probably not. All right, so chat, I will be posting this poll tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter at real_R0B because there's a guy that has a Twitter handle R0B that hasn't logged in since fucking 2015.
That's okay. I'm online Big Blue 1 because there's an online Big Blue and I never see him post anything.
So hopefully I'm hoping, supposedly, like if you're inactive for like some whatever, they like deactivate the account and whatever. So real_R0B. That's me. You'll see my logo. Okay. Follow me. I will have the poll up tomorrow by noon Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, by noon.
By
Oh,
noon.
Okay.
We will have the poll up by noon Eastern Standard Time, and I will have it up.
Slightly nervous.
I will have it up for
What?
for 1 week. No, I can't have it up for 1 week.
You can't have it 1 week.
3 days.
Okay. I will give you 3 days, but you have to have at least 100 votes.
Fine. Done.
3-day
poll.
3-day poll.
100 votes. But if you
100
get
votes.
200, you get something extra.
You get 200, you get something else. I will throw in something here, but I would have to call the Giants and ask them if I could do it. And luckily, I know I have a number for someone that I could talk to in the Giants. If you get over 1,000 votes, and I don't know if it will happen.
Though.
That's a
How
lot.
about 500?
No, because what I'm going to tell you is if you get over 1,000 votes, and we have shown this picture before. I'm looking for it right now. I don't know if I can find it. If we get over 1,000, I will call the New York Giants, and I will not record it, but I will call the New York Giants and ask them if they would not mind or get permission to wear my life-size movie authentic Bigfoot costume in the Giant jersey that it's currently wearing now. It's currently wearing a game-worn Giant jersey in my living room. Not in my living room, in my basement. I will call them up and ask them if they would allow me to do that. Full Bigfoot.
You're gonna be sweating your fucking balls off.
It was a little chilly last year.
So the hair might help you out.
It was a little cold. It was a little cold last year. We were there for like 3 hours or more than that. We were there for a long time because you got to get there early. But I will ask them if you get 1,000 in 3 days, I will ask them if I can wear my full movie grade, hands, feet, everything, Bigfoot costume. Those that have seen the pictures, I posted them before online, know that this costume is beyond. I mean, it literally looks like, it really. Oh wait, I found it. Hold on. And I will wear just for Rob. I will wear everything that he is wearing currently, but you have to get a minimum of 1,000. Hold on. I got it. Hold on. Let me move this over here. Rob's like, oh my.
I want to see this. I really want to see this, bro.
The only thing I worry about with you, Rob, is you would probably be stupid enough to be like, I'm gonna go figure out a way to get 1,000 people.
I am, bro. Listen, bro. I need to get that 1,000.
Yeah, I know. Here you go. Hold on. Here we go. Now it's wearing a game-worn jersey.
Bro, you can walk in that?
Yeah, I wore it for Halloween. It is a full movie scale, 7 foot, over 7 foot, Bigfoot costume. And I will call the Giants and ask them if you get 1,000, if they would be okay if I wore this. I actually have other pictures too. I'm trying to find the one that doesn't have me with the jersey. But because like I said, it comes with, and you know what to find? It comes with a full bodysuit. Oh, I can't show you that one. That has my wife in it. She'd kill me if I showed you that picture. But that's oh my God, she can. I can't show you that picture. Because
bro, no, that suit right there is fucking phenomenal.
I will call them up and ask them if they would mind if I did it. I will go to the PR department of the Giants and ask them. It was funny.
So where is your head when you wear that?
The head is it's right between, it's about 6 inches below the chin.
So how do you see out of that thing?
There is a mesh net that you could see through.
So the hair stays there, but you could see through the hair?
You could see through the hair. I wore it for like 4 hours on Halloween. Here you go. Here's the Halloween one. Hold on. Because it also comes with a full bodysuit. So literally, that's the full thing. It's got the nipples. It's got everything. It's literally, it looks like you got this huge ass belly. So it literally comes with the full bodysuit as well.
But you'd wear it with a jersey on it though, right?
I would wear it as I have it there. Here's the by itself, so you can get the full scale of it. Here you go.
And it stands up like that?
No, I have it on a stand. There's a mannequin. There's a mannequin in the suit in it right now. You can't tell, but like I said, because it's got the bodysuit on it right now. But the jersey is the jersey's a 52, which is funny because it is number 52, but size 52. But the bodysuit is just so big it just sucks it in with the jersey.
Bro, you should have that in your fucking background when you fucking go live. Dude, that's fucking tough, bro.
It's a bitch to move.
That's fucking, dude. I bet it's probably fucking heavy as shit.
And I love it because the bartender is, of course, a mariachi bartender. He is wearing my Elvis wig and sunglasses.
Unbelievable.
So 1,000.
There it is, chat.
1,000. But wait, I will do that. But then if the Giants say no, we have to come up with something else.
Okay, deal.
But so this is the deal. What I said, 100. I feel like I should say more than 100 now. 100.
Said 100.
100, 3 days, 100 votes between either the Elvis or the Lloyd Dobler costume. 1,000 votes. You could either have. I'm going to give you a carte blanche. 1,000 votes. You either get the Elvis, Lloyd Christmas, or the Bigfoot costume. But I would have to ask the Giants about the Bigfoot costume.
So now it's straight just 1,000.
Do you get 1,000 votes in 3 days? I will allow you to choose one of those three, but just under the stipulation and understanding that the Giants might say no to Bigfoot.
Well, the premise here is if we get 100 votes, the poll is going to be Lloyd Christmas or Elvis.
Right. You have to have at least 100 votes, and whatever that vote is, then I will do.
Then that's what you go. But if we get to 1,000 votes,
and you guys want, I will call the Giants and ask them
about the
Bigfoot. If I can wear the Bigfoot costume.
Chat, you heard it laid out here on Online Big Blue. If you want Elvis, vote for it. If you want Lloyd Christmas and you want some IOUs, because Joe Shane's probably going to be writing some of those, you might want to hold on to that one. You got to vote. But if you want to go ham, potentially, and get Bigfoot checking in live
Giants
from the NFL, live from the locker room of the New York Giants, I'll be honest, you might actually get some players, that come up to you, maybe want to listen. If Sexy Dexy is there, you got to get a picture with Sexy Dexy wearing that thing. And if he sees it, he 100% is going to want to get a picture with it. But last year we saw Daniel Jones walking. We saw Daniel Jones walking last year. He probably won't be doing. He might be in a. Maybe you'll catch him in a chair throwing or something. But if you guys want it, you gotta vote. Share the pin. I put my Twitter handle in the chat. When I post it up tomorrow, you gotta share it. You gotta share it. You gotta repost it. It's gonna be up for 3 days. It's up
3
to
days,
you guys.
So if you do it, if you do it noon tomorrow, which is noon Tuesday,
it should be done
Thursday,
by noon Thursday.
Noon Thursday's got to be down. And it's got to be on Twitter, and it's got to be verifiable. You can't just can't make Twitter accounts and just.
Yes,
I will do that. I will.
There it is.
I will do that for Giants Nation. You get 2,000 votes. I will dress up as Daniel Jones. And limp into the stadium.
Oh man,
no, I'm not doing that. That's just crazy. Bigfoot's not crazy. That's just fucking crazy. All right, but you heard it here first, guys. I got to wrap this up because this went way longer than I thought.
That's what she said.
And as always, this is Tim. This is RZB, bringing you the best of your Giant sports talk and entertainment. Make sure you stay tuned for all those RZB videos coming up, and look out for that poll. You know what? We're out of here.
Do the monkey with me.